seen on both streams so far today. Definitely ready for some fireworks. Starting out though, let's go over, because I talked about a little bit about the meta changing there in the interview with Smithy afterwards, but the bans, even though a lot of the old bans kind of have dropped away, they've been filtering down into some more predictable ones, although not always required by Red Side. The Varus and the Blanc have been sitting over there. And then you jump into the things like Malzahar, super high priority because of flexibility. Camille is still very good if there's a top laner you're scared about playing, carry top laners and running you down. Even after her nerfs, she's still a very formidable top laner. There she goes. She's off the list as well, but it has really filtered down into some sort of predictable ones until you get the teams that are bringing out these flex picks like the crazy Jace AD carry or the FlyQuest style bottom lane.
Mordecai.
Yeah, exactly.
Jace is going to be dropped off the table, so a lot of high-tier bans dropped away on both sides. Lulu, of course, famously still available. That's going to be the pickup.
Yeah, Lulu, extremely high priority, especially since Malzahar is also banned and it's one of the other high-tier supports. Basically, what I would see, though, if we see an early Lulu pick, is almost always answered with Karma, and it wouldn't be really much surprise there. Both bring fairly similar things. It's just that people are really favoring Lulu right now because of the extra offensive steroids she's giving you, right? With the AD carries switching more towards back to the auto. Exactly, the auto attackers are coming back in. The attack speed buff that Lulu grants you rises in value.
So Drodox thinks that Rengar is going to be the king of the jungle here in this one, but it gives TSM priority on both Shen and Lulu. And with Graves available, kind of strange to trade these away, but apparently they're happy with that because you can get the Karma back, as you mentioned, and also Rumble into the Shen. Definitely,
no surprises here. Rumble definitely strong into Shen, can definitely bully him. We'll see how they're able to round this one out with some more hard CC. I always like to see Rumble paired with, something that can hold you in place on top of the barbecue. And right now, it would have to be an empowered Bola, which is super rare and hard to hit. So maybe they lock in a little bit more CC from the bottom side of the map, go a little bit more of the old school.
This comp definitely fits a Jhin. And actually, speaking of old school, Kha'Zix's coming in over Graves for Svenskar and wants that assassination potential.
Yeah, or even an Ashe, right? With Varus already banned out, TSM might want to pinch the AD carry pool further to ban out the things that you're looking for with those long-range initiations and those crowd control from bot lane options to try and pinch the composition. But it looks like they're going back to the Assassins mid here, ban out the Talon. Pobelter did play Katarina mid yesterday and had a lot of success.
Zero deaths.
I wonder if they followed up with another, Pobelter-focused mid lane assassin, but I did not expect that one. I definitely was looking more at, team comp-wise as far as CC that Immortals might be looking to add. Mid lane is definitely one where they could bring that as well.
Absolutely, we'll see what happens here. Already banned up the table. Both teams aiming at mid lane bans, so keep in mind, of course, if it permits, TSM have dibs on what to grab first here. Both teams need a bot laner and a mid laner. Same two roles available for both squads. We know where everyone else is going right now.
Yeah. And it does look to me like TSM want to be more of a proactive, aggressive composition because the tier list, I would drop down and go right for Graves if I was just looking at junglers isolated. But with the Lulu, with the Shen, Kha'Zix offers more offensive uses of those supportive type champions. And looks like they might want to go more aggressive with the overall direction this time around. Let's see what Immortals round out their last ban with. They're taking the entire timer here for this one. We do discuss it.
And it's going to be Syndra. So 4 mid lane bans coming through as this one concludes the ban phase 2. And Ezreal, with no bot lane bans at all, just going to be picked up easily. And it leaves all the utility up for the bot lane of Immortals.
Extra mobility for Wild Turtle is always a good thing in my book. Ezreal right now is also just incredibly powerful. As soon as you start spiking in the mid game, scales pretty nicely. On the other side, though, talking about scaling, Caitlyn's doesn't really spike in mid. It really just continues to exponentially ramp up with every extra crit item you add on. So Immortals, do add a little bit of extra sieging and some late game insurance. Orianna all around, great for blind picking.
The Huhi special, the Aurelian Soul Hover right now by Bjergsen.
Funny because everyone always makes fun of TSM and Bjergsen specifically for not being able to deal with Aurelian Soul and all the bugs that pop up when those two are in the same game, but he's not going to go for it. And does go with Echo Man, I have been so impressed. Specifically, it's been mostly Jensen's Echo. Keen had a really good one as well, though. And this mid lane champion is really making a strong resurgence. If played super well with that teleport, you can earn a CS lead on this melee assassin, which is the thing that really separates him from the other melee assassins, where you don't see Fizz very often, right? Come into the pro play, because he's gonna, it's more difficult for him to get that control of minion waves early. But Echo with the long range time winder, with the Q spam, and the teleport that he brings, you can actually get CS leads that we've seen from Jensen and people, and still be a super threatening assassin as far as the backline goes. So see him in action here in Bjergsen's hands and see what he can get off.
He's got a lot of tools available and no tanks like we had with Darshan's Trundle earlier today to really deal with that in the 1v1. So it's going to be fun. TSM, of course, running double teleport. Immortals not going to be doing that. And in fact, TSM have triple teleport thanks to Shen. Split push going to be powerful for the TSM squad here.
Yeah, split push, basically trying to catch people in between rotations is actually something that both teams could do. Anytime you have Rengar like that, it's a possibility. Rumble, one of my favorite things about Rumble, not just the team fighting and we always talk up dragon power of your ultimate. Ulting a wave for tempo, for rotation, is extremely useful in that mid game as well, or just forcing people off of a turret.
Yeah, and we talk about good TP flankers in general with like, ooh, the Maokai comes into roots you. It's like, well, you TP in and equalize with the whole team. Like, that's a pretty good team fight tool as well. And so we are ready to go and load into the Rift. TSM have a chance to take first place all for themselves. They can take down Immortals. Immortals themselves had a pretty good showing yesterday. We'll see if that early game can continue. Immortals can actually get into 4th place with a win right now. And we'll see as we get ourselves into game 1. The playoff shuffle still fun and exciting and neck for a lot of these squads to take to the Rift for game 1.
Laughing already because I see the triple rejuve bead from Hanser to try and combat the constant harassment from Flamethrower. It's pretty funny because, Albert, or actually Box, a lot of people call him, was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And he tried to do triple rejuve beat on like every single top laner.
Yeah, but some don't have HP regen like Riven.
Well, he bet me. He literally bet me money that you were going to see it in the LCS. And well, it has been seen. This is actually not even the first time. But
so how much do you owe him?
I actually don't even remember.
You have to like sub to his channel or what?
It was probably like $5 something.
Okay, so yeah, you'll sub to his channel. There you go. You can spam your box emotes.
Regardless, though, the reason that he is going rejuve bead in this case is to deal with Rumble. Very good matchup into Shen. You're able to push the wave while getting harassment down. On display there from
That
Flame.
harassment?
Yeah, exactly. It is harassment. He's going to cause a fire here in the brush.
Oh, that's
middle of a river.
Yeah, he was going to, evaporate the river and dry it up.
Honestly, though, the Raptor invades, which is what's going on over there, is super common now. As we've seen, so many junglers trying to get that extra experience. You just want to squeeze every last drop of experience out of the early jungle that you can. And starting Raptors does help you do that. If you clear all the small ones, there's your level 2. Now your Raptor is isolated, and you can easily clean that one up with the Q. Svenskeren did take a little bit extra damage. Usually I'll see Kha'Zix only get down to half there if they do get proper help from their top laner, and there's no invade kind of harassment there, but it won't be a super big issue for him. Sus might for his red buff, and could possibly even route up to the top side to go with an early gank onto a Rumble who is perma-shoving in this matchup. And Shen actually, taunt right now is super scary because you want to thin out the minion wave first, but it's a possibility if you're able to first clear out some minions, get your level 2, and get the jungler in position with some, early Scuttle Crab control to make sure the enemy's not coming. It's a multi-layered process, but those are things that you do want to, keep in mind.
Hanser lasting under turret pretty well. Has only missed 2 minions despite being under turret here. Flame the same on his push power. Looks like an early recall for Svenskeren. Grabs the Krugs and goes back, and it's a more hard farm route for Dardoch.
Yeah, if you are going to go with the Krugs after the red buff, Dardoch is going to try and take advantage of shoving Hanser under lane. See if they actually pull the trigger here, because they have not technically seen Svenskeren, so they don't know exactly if he did go for this mana-less route. Basically, he had to recall because you run out of mana on Kha'Zix if you don't start.
Yeah, I don't think you do red Krugs ever. I think they know exactly that he recalled him at bot side.
After you pop over and see they're gone.
Right. I think you know like 100% certainty at a pro level that's what the camp he's doing.
coming up here. We're going to see the early recall from Bjergsen. He actually doesn't have to teleport, but you want to do it to get that tempo advantage. You know, get your minion wave advantage, shove this one in super quick before Pobelter can get back. And that's where what I was talking about, the TS leads that we've been seeing for Echoes, really do balloon from.
Svenskeren maximizing time, lets the red buff last hit the blue. I love optimizations like that. Props to Svenskeren for saving literally 1 second of time for doing that, but I mean, I'm always a fan.
Yes, kite your jungle camps, children.
Yep.
And draw them closer to your next destination.
Yep. Still, thank you, Professor Kobe, for the lesson. Got a good prompt.
It actually is an interesting point. At one point, I was almost going to do a video on Kha'Zix jungling, just because there are a couple nuances with specifically Kha'Zix for each individual camp on, you know, especially starting Talisman and maximizing the health drain.
Yeah.
That you can do, but it's become less and less of a factor as time has gone on. Dardoch here, though, trying to clean up some of his Raptors.
Flash away from the stun, and Svenskeren on the chase flashes in for it, and they get the kill. Look at that dive inside of the TSM jungle. Immortals. Woo!
Ooh, yeah, I mean,
or their own jungle, rather.
Technically, Immortals jungle, but TSM were trying to make it their jungle there.
Yeah, I got that one backwards. I for some reason, the wrong person died in my head, and I got confused, but Svenskeren started overstepping on it and dies for it. That's what I was going for.
Yeah, let's take it. I mean, honestly, review it again here, Freak, because this is so aggressive. Yes, both of them are here, but they know that Pobelter's on the way, and they split their targets there. You know, Svenskeren goes super deep, as you said. If maybe Bjergsen was in on that and they both targeted and tried to force him out of the fight.
Oh, jeez. Svenskeren just going to face check on a Dardoch, but looks like he's going to be okay with this one. Can he get it?
No!
Dardoch solo kills Svenskeren in his jungle. Didn't even buy any new items, and Dardoch massacring this matchup now.
Good thing that we prepped the top triangle of this game here, Freak, because the solo laners of TSM do, you know, attract a lot of jungler attention, and we're seeing it all turn in Immortals' favor, actually. Very good start here for Dardoch. He is set up for success. Now, a lot of pros I've talked to about the, you know, bruiser Rengar builds or the tank Rengar builds, and they are, you know, less flashy, slightly more effective for team fights if you have that HP pool, you know, to try and be the front man. But if you get early leads like this, I want to see a little bit, at least one extra damage item come out before you transition into bruiser style, because Dardoch right now, huge amount of threat. He'll hit level 6, and those solo lanes you're talking about have to worry about it, because, you know, summoners are starting to go down. The teleports are not ready for TSM, even though they do have Haunter to rely upon. One of the other reasons you pick Rumble into that matchup is he pushes Shen in so heavily and pretty much permanently that you will lose out even if you do stand united somewhere else. You better make it worth it, because Rumble will almost certainly have those minions pushing and take a toll on your turret.
You can get some very serious turret damage with that. And I actually want to ask you a pointed question, though. If you're against Lulu and Shen, is it still worth trying to assassinate, or is it going to be too hard with
I think for the early game, going a second damage item
still worth
is worth.
Okay.
But so many of the junglers have been transitioning towards full tank builds right after. Maybe the middle ground would be a dead man's plate, because you get actually a little bit of extra
that's a
damage.
Cop-out.
And the extra speed as well. It's definitely good for snowballing.
Sure, true. Firefrost's not quite going to get rooted. Take some damage from Cody's Sun as they're trading back and forth. Lane lead right now does go to Immortals. Neither lane has had any jungle help, and yet it's the TSM duo who's behind. So Cody's Sun and Ole continue to outperform preseason expectations. They're starting to do pretty well as a duo here.
And although, you know, we're going to highlight Dardoch and working with their advantage on the top side and those solo laners,
Cody's Sun, as I mentioned, the caster curse, he has to flash and heal away. TSM find the duo lead.
That's here.
Cody's Sun probably dead for this one. Jumps in. The shield is in. The Shen's coming as well. And Sven rooted up in place.
The trap.
He's going to die for it. The equalizer. He's dead, though. He is dead, though. I don't know why Ole flashed. That was a bit of a mistake, but the chase is in for Flame. Pushes back a little bit. Here comes Dardoch. Wants another. They know they have Hansu. He's going to take down Biofrost first, then Immortals. Able to capitalize. It was all a bait. Cody's Sun, the mastermind, sets up the 4-kill trade as Immortals slaughter TSM in the bot lane.
Well, Freak, this game is going extremely quickly in Immortals' favor. I mean, technically you're talking about your caster cursing this Cody's Sun. Maybe it's caster bait, as Cody's Sun is going to end up you know, going down in the end, but look how much. TSM, they send everybody down here. If you look at the minimap right now, Hanser is in communication. He's like, all right, I'm ready with the teleport. Svenskeren there, walking on the trap is going to be the death sentence. But then they have the Rengar who's super fed. And if you look at the mid lane coming down with Dardoch at the moment too, at this point, Turtle opting to try and go a different direction from Biofrost does turn out poorly because didn't keep track of the roam from Delta as well. Yeah. I don't know if they had both run towards their own turret, if it would have been possible to try and get away.
They're probably dead, I think.
Probably still. But again, hindsight 2020 as well.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what matters is Immortals have a ginormous gold lead for only 9 minutes into the game.
And this is 3 games in a row they've done this. Like yesterday, they 2-0'd FlyQuest, and it was like, well, FlyQuest are kind of inting. This is a bit messy, but TSM, this just feels like Immortals are outplaying them.
Yeah, we did couch, you know, yesterday with a little bit of, okay, you know, calm down because they're going up against, you know, another one of the #1 teams tomorrow, and it might not be so good, but you're right. Out to a very similar explosive start here for this squad. Again, the only thing here, TSM can kind of rely on. Bjergsen didn't join, so he got an extra few CS there. He does actually have a CS lead, and he has a teleport to work with, so...
And now, in the bot lane, looking for a dive. He's here looking for the stun. Cody-san rooted. Biofrost's going to be a bit careful. The karma damage will die to the turret. Wild growth means nothing. And here comes Dardoch. He wants a bit more. A double kill, and Bjergsen's next to the platter. Looking for the ulti, maybe get some damage across on him, or just run away. The flash chase, the E-slow is there. Gonna get some damage. Ults the shockwave, but he's still got nowhere to go. He's on the wrong side of this fight. And the kill should go over. Ole not going to steal it this time. He tried. But with the last hit there, Ole 5 assists, and Dardoch 5 kills and 3 assists is smashing this game open.
Yeah, this one, all right, let's take a look, because you mentioned the teleport's coming in. Cody-san, again, is the man who's the sacrificial lamb here. Dies under turret. However, the tower aggro was almost going to take him out by himself. Dardoch, once again, is on Rengar. Another one of these beautiful reactive Rengar ultimates, which, as Rengar, you're just so happy to see these fights, you know, tower dives break out on the bottom side, and everyone running away with low HP is pretty much the dream. You get to go in there and clean up, and he does, you know, stacking up his Bone Tooth Necklace because multiple people are teleporting into these fights. It's not just bottom laners that are getting killed here, so the snowball is very real.
It really is. They've got an Ocean Drake to add to it. They got first turret gold in the bot lane as well. Immortals have been completely cracking this game apart.
And the next one coming up is Infernal.
Snowballing.
Best one for, you know, continuing that snowball.
And when you've got 4, we'll count Ole, 5 carries in this team right now, they all want the Infernal Drake stacks. Dardoch already at 4 Bone Tooth Necklace stacks as well. And it has some flat AD on it, so it's actually really big early game as well. And I mean, this is a game that's quickly running out of hand.
All right, we at least get one of the middle ground Bruiser Rengar builds. He is going with that Cleaver.
Okay.
So I do like that one, even though it got changed more towards health. Extra cooldown reduction on Rengar is insane because it basically amounts to more attack speed because you get more abilities off, you get more empowered abilities off, you get more auto attack resets off. It's definitely a good multiplier for him.
Sure.
Plus adding the health pool, which is one of actually my favorite stats to stack early as far as effective defenses for those skirmishers. Here comes Ole, snaring him up. Just generally being annoying to the mid laner, seeing as they have switched into their 1-3-1 format in order to really take away any sort of farming opportunities from TSM. This is exactly what you want to see in teams furthering early gold leads.
We'll see if this lead's going to further anyway. It's TSM going to do the best they can to stay alive, but the Immortals, of course, in the driver's seat by quite a bit. 5,000 gold ahead means they can do a lot for a ward kill, and they're going to take away the jungle. To the mid lane now. Wild Turtle rooted in a shockwave, and he didn't see that one coming, and still goes down to Popozer. The snipe not needed. Cody-san, sadly, no extra assist on him. Mid lane still under fire, running out of health.
Man, I mean, full-length bolas don't land too often. People dodge those pretty frequently,
And he didn't think to flash it. Quick taunt in for Hanser, but doesn't really mean much. He's behind an item against Flame right now. As the pressure continues for Immortals, looking to knock down this turret. Cody-san at least gets some turret damage. This one, not as bot lane focused for Immortals. It's all about the Rengar. Dardoch, 90% KP, half his team's kills. He is a big boy.
Definitely true. And a big boy with a big playing ground. I mean, both of the sides of the jungle will soon be completely open to Immortals. They already have advanced wards on the blue quadrant because that tower went down. Top tower is barely standing still. Mid tower even is below 50%. So if Immortals just keep up the pressure for another couple minutes, and they'll just completely blow open most of Summoner's Rift.
Cody's son playing nice and safe. He doesn't want to risk getting jumped on by a Lulu or something, and gonna let that go. But Flame's getting alone time in the top lane, and well, you can't fire the rock down too quickly, but he's gonna knock this one down all the same. 2 turrets to 0 here, and TSM have very little on the scoreboard to speak of. They've got a long way to go to catch up. Svenskeren will go for some armor pen. He's got the lethality with this rated Dirk here. We'll see what comes up next.
Yeah, it is getting a little quiet for the TSM fans, but they will remember yesterday that they lost game 1 in a very convincing fashion as well. And it is a best of 3 series, so they still have hope in coming back in those. It's actually kind of funny how the organization as a whole has had kind of a long history of losing early games in their best of series, whether it's 3 or 5s even.
Yep.
But regardless, I think Immortals should definitely be celebrating their kind of second half of the split's resurgence.
Sure, absolutely. After week 6, it's been pretty good. It's been uphill for them. Again, that week with the loss to both Liquid and Envy was a rough spot, and it felt like it might be the turning point where Immortals, are they the worst team in North America? Are they going to get relegated? Are they going to fall all the way down the standings? And then you quickly turn that one around with their solid victory over FlyQuest and a very nice lead over TSM. Of course, obviously more league to play still, but it's a lead they should keep playing with here. 7,000 gold lead remains the same, and the question is how much more can they open here? Because you're supposed to be able to take lots of plays, take lots of risks, and break the game apart.
Exactly, and the question not just if, but how. And we talked about it a little bit when you break down the rest of the outer turrets. They've done that. Checkbox on number 1. Now they want to try and move up their ward lines once again. You can see TSM are trying to take advantage of the opportunity right now where they still have defensive vision in place. So there are pockets of vision for TSM to try and work off to get small picks and get back into the game. Immortals' goal is to remove those and then clean up the neutral objectives, which they should be able to take unless TSM really overextend. But TSM are trying to preempt this, maybe, with one of those brush plays we're talking about.
Yeah, looking for it, standing on a controller, hoping for the play right here. Damage on a Flame. Dardoch waiting in the wings and suddenly realizes it's a 1v2, so he's going to run away for this one. The taunt is there, the damage is gone, and it's going to be Flame dropping down. TSM find their first kill in 15 minutes or so.
Very good, making the best of a bad situation here for TSM. They know that it's so difficult for them to ever contest this Infernal Drake. Try and make a play on the top side. Use those pockets, and they should be able to get the turret as well, even though Dardoch's going in for a defense when it's low.
Does one in. The stun could come out from Bjergsen. Turret's going to fall pretty quickly, but damage on Hansen means they could turn it back around, and they get the 1-for-0. Another push back towards Dardoch, has to cut away from Time Winder, and no extra kill will come in, but the 1-for-1 plus the turret's good for TSM.
It is right now. Currently, Immortals will have control of the map. After that, not quite a lot they can get. Maybe a little bit of damage onto mid. Their next goal then should be to retreat back to that Infernal Drake, though, and secure the extra power there. Here we go, though. 4 members up top, basically, with the Stand United. Dardoch recognizes it immediately, so he backs off. And he actually circles around, waiting for the reinforcement. This is the call here is to bring in the duo lane, and they try and defend that turret. Ends up going down anyway, but here they are returning to that prize.
Yep. And the absence of a sneaky play, there's not much. Not a lot TSM can do to stop that, so it's a more permanent advantage is added here for Immortals. A nice Infernal break for them. And next up is going to be Ocean number 2. Maybe not the most important. They are against some level of poke, but not a ton. Probably a weaker one this game at this point. TSM able to get some of the gold back, and the lead just remains stagnant at 7K. Keeping it at that same mark for 10 minutes is very good for TSM.
Yeah, even though that is a large amount of gold, even still now into the game, that's exactly what you want. You basically want to tread water at this point because it's so risky to try and actually go for aggressive moves and make gains. But trading objectives is really good for them. Like we said, going for opposite side of the map is very good for them.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, making gains is important. So Immortals going to hope to bulk here and see if they can find much more to do with themselves. They haven't gotten any inroads towards the tier 2 turrets, and those deep wards are non-existent. They don't see inside the TSM jungle very much right now. You'd think they'd play around the Baron area, maybe grab the Rip Herald so that Flame can have an easier time in his one-on-one. Give it to somebody. You might as well grab objectives while you can. Get the wards and play for something. But right now, they are, as you mentioned, treading water, and that's kind of not okay if you're Immortals.
Well, so Immortals, right now, they have a lot of power as far as Dardoch's roaming and the threat that they have there.
Yeah, but see, while they're treading water, they're actually drowning with the fact that TSM's actually attacking them and the boat's getting rocked.
Opposite side of the map. Once again, TSM, they stay proactive, made a jump on it. Immortals, though, should be able to shove up the other 2 lanes. They're actually making a call to condense all their members into the top side. They call Cody's son up as well, and they should be able to get a tower for it. Now, the question is,
nice sweeper.
Will they be able to get more than just a tower? If TSM keep Bjergsen down bottom side, that's another one of the trades that we talked about rather than actually having Immortals make up much on the other side.
So it's 1 for 0 in kills, but it is a top lane tier 2 turret killed off. And the question is, and it's going to be answered, actually looks like Bjergsen will be able to take down that bot lane turret himself. So the turret is not worth more gold than the kill was, so it's actually TSM making up even more of the disadvantage. It's now under 7K. And it's a slowly sinking game for Immortals. Still, of course, a big leap for them. It takes a lot more, but as far as quality of play, it's TSM playing better.
All right, going for another one of these State United picks. We talked about looking for the Kha'Zix, more aggressive, going in with those, and it does pay off a bit for them. More time for them to farm out, though. Continue taking the mass gainers.
Lots of way, hoping they can get it to happen, but yeah, right now it's Immortals looking for maybe more to do.
Yeah, and the more things that they have to do, the pack of vision exploration, basically, missions that they want to do into TSM areas, they want to try and cut off the rotations so that if TSM go for something on the bottom side of the map, you see members in transition walking through their own jungle to that play. That's what those advanced wards will afford you.
Let's see if Immortals can do much with this mission pack. They feel like they're getting a bit busy with the side quest, and the main quest is time. And we'll see if they can add any more right here. Looking for the Ocean Drake spawning in 3-ish minutes, and of course the Baron's up. TSM with great defensive wards in their side of the map. They've got so many control wards in their own jungle to make sure those inroads are slow.
Yeah, and it's not like Immortals are feeling panicked by any means. They have a Caitlyn that they're securing them for the end game. Orianna scales quite well as well. Yeah. Just that you would like to cut off a bit more of the income of TSM while you have this control. And especially rely on that threat of Rengar ultimate could catch me anytime I'm not at one of my turrets.
That's fair. So TSM have to play defensively. To their credit, they found a couple of those openings. But you're right, Immortals have giant gold bags they can use to break this game open with, and they still have that lead. And we'll see, they're pushing in up in the mid lane. The trap line is there, and this Drake's a minute and a half away. And as they try to take away some of the money, you saw some counter from Dardoch earlier. Dardoch still does hold that 1-level lead over Svenskeren. 2 levels for Pobother versus Bjergsen. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, definitely true.
And killing the 2 items.
TSM, with Bjergsen, they want to use their double teleports. Basically, this is the advantage that TSM have in this to try and keep Immortals, pathing back and forth between lanes and using up time is poke and prod with your 1-3-1, with your double teleports. It is a tricky game. It's a risky game, but, shove the lane, back up quickly, keep them rotating so that they don't go for more of the big objectives. Right now, though, bottom side is where they are focusing.
They finally found the way in. Bot lane tier 2 taking some pretty significant damage. Quick arcane shift keeps Wild Turtle alive, and this Turtle's in quite a bit of HP, and it's very close to going down. So Immortals are slowly but surely getting their way into TSM's base. And Bjergsen not making any inroads right now up against Flame, so that's going all right for him. Not a lot of MR on this Rumble, so maybe it's a decent matchup for Bjergsen. Of course, they both have teleport. But there we go, bot lane tier 2 goes down. TSM again have to be and they're going to look for this damage. Looking to talk down onto Flame. Bjergsen has to flash away, but the flash chase is there, and
Can they pick them up, though? Because here come Immortals, and Dardoch's on the hunt.
They're all here. Hansu rooted up. There's all the damage effort they could possibly need. No way out for the Shen. Couple more shots will do it. There's the kill picked up. Nicely done. Immortals trade it, and they got bot lane tier 2 already. Yeah,
funneling gold into Caitlyn's definitely good for them. Dardoch lets him have that kill. Cody's son happy to get it. TSM looking to strike back for Drake, though.
Yeah, Ocean Drake this late in the game for a bot lane tier 2. Probably Immortals favored. So more gain for them, and Drake goes down.
There is a control ward on this Baron, but it's not far enough into the pit to actually cancel that ward. But they've got plenty of damage. It might not matter. Bjergsen could go for a miracle steal, but it might be suicide. He has no ult.
Not gonna happen. Nicely done with Dardoch. Lands the smite, and Immortals have the Baron. They need to start pushing into this game heavily.
Flame teleport.
Looking for the play. Flame has not TP'd yet. He's gonna walk into the lane. Dardoch gonna look for the chase. Not gonna find it. He flashed in a brush, but had no one to jump to. This is Immortals getting that Queen Baron. Looking to push.
Oh, this is going to be huge for Immortals. The Caitlyn is ready to go, at least has the double item power spike.
Yeah.
Baron buff should allow them to clean up a bunch of ground here.
You're right, Kobe. There was no huge rush in this one. Even though they weren't growing the lead for the last 10 minutes, they finally got the opening they looked for. They got that Baron, and they've cracked this game wide open, 11,000 ahead.
All right, recalls are going to come in to spend all that cash, but I expect them to get right back to the siege game here. Caitlyn, long range, plus the extra shielding from Orion and Karma. I almost don't see a way that Immortals are unable to get an inhibitor turret with this Baron buff siege. It can be done if TSM do some really fancy work wave clearing and stalling out, but Immortals should just make a beeline straight for their inhibitor turret of choice to make the most of this Baron buff and siege that sucker down.
And Flame has teleport, plus the burst damage to TSM, probably not high enough to require Flame to babysit the squad of 4, so looks like the mid lane siege is on.
Yeah, and honestly, as we kind of alluded to before, Rumble, the possibility of using a Rumble ultimate with just the other 4-man stack to run them off a turret is very real. Yeah, you won't exactly have it for the team fight if the other team goes aggressive, but you have such a big gold lead that it might not even matter in that case, and if they really want to force the issue, they could definitely do that. Right now, shoving up bottom as well as mid, and then they either have the option to keep in splits or just straight up group and brute force right through.
See what they can get with this one then. The 9,000 gold lead, 11,000 gold lead rather, if they do math properly. The mid lane siege is here. Cody's going to the red buff, means even more turret damage as well.
Yeah, you can be so confident to get turret damage on Caitlyn with double shields.
Yeah.
Walk right up. You have a lot of escape paths. They're going to swap between them depending on when the minion wave arrives.
Like this. A lot of damage here.
Dardoch actually taking too much.
Yeah, he's going to run out of HP a little bit, but they're there, and they pick off Bjergsen right away through the Shen ult as well. The Caitlyn trap, Cody's son set it up nicely. There's a shockwave, not quite going to find Turtle, but Dardoch able to kite away safely, and that's bot lane inhibitor, plus the turret gone. Mid lane wave is here as well, and it's more for Immortals.
Oh yeah, once you're inside the base, definitely can call that one. Super duper successful. Bjergsen didn't even have time to ult there as he got snared up, and that is 2 inhibitors. Immortals once again coming out of the gates with a massive snowball game.
And they're really blasting this game open. 3 games in a row now. The 2 against FlyQuest, this one against TSM. Great early games. Dardoch this time around really being the key member for it. He wasn't as much in the FlyQuest series, but really he has done a lot of the heavy lifting individually himself. Still 12 out of 13 kill participation. Still 0 deaths on the Bruiser-ish Rengar. Some damage. Hansu forced the TP away, but it is an Immortals game through and through right now.
Yeah. I mean, salute to Cody's son. He had to be the sacrifice for a lot of the bottom lane plays where Dardoch got a bunch of his kills and they rotated down, but definitely well worth it for them.
And the Immortals looking for a bit more worth to add to themselves right now. The 13,000 gold lead, not enough clearly. They want more. They're investing in top lane.
And these bush plays, these are the ones that are born of, we don't have many options. So TSM looking for one of the few options available. Oh, baby.
Phobelter checks over the wall and finds a Kha'Zix, and Kha'Zix is gone.
Honestly, no respect there from Spencer for the damage. You got flash. Didn't even attempt to jump either.
Nope.
Just like, you know what?
I'm dead.
I'm dead.
It's yours.
Go ahead.
5,000 gold power play. Immortals looking to close the game out in under 30 minutes. Top lane inhibitor turret gonna fall, and there's not a lot TSM could do about this. Immortals off of a stellar early game.
Both of the #1 teams in the NALCS showing some definitely openings here as Cloud9 just goes down and TSM drops game number 1. The Immortals with, again, one of the quickest games.
Push forward, looking for the comeback victory. Not going to find it yet. Bjergsen pushed out. Nice of TSM to try, but better of Immortals to kite back. The taunt's going to be a shockwave buy at a time, and Immortals, too many stats and too big a gold bag. The double kill right now already for Poe. Belzer, one picked up as well for Flame, and that's going to be all she wrote. 4 for nothing, not even a problem. The triple kill for the mid laner, but the game is over, and Immortals take a very resounding Game 1 victory over TSM. Yeah, we actually usually don't show champ select till after the first ban comes through, so we always get to cheat here in the caster desk. I didn't last game, I actually got the countdown right, but either way, Shen off the table. Hanser says, well, we played it, didn't work for us, but still don't want to give that one away. LeBlanc ban, no surprise. Malzahar ban, no surprise. Pretty much down the tier list in a lot of these cases. We see so many LeBlanc Varus bans.
Yeah, I mean, the only addition here has been Shen so far. To expect similar ones. The other one that could come up as well, Lulu wasn't a big factor in the last game, but she has really become super high priority. And anytime I also see it paired with like Malzahar's also banned and on the board, that becomes an option because I'm waiting for people to pinch the Lulu Karma trade, which everyone's happy to do the trade right now. And once again, they're both up and you do expect them to just be traded again. But
Ryze, Jace, Lulu. The 2 champions that are left off the ban phase from last time are Ryze and Jace. So the first one picked right away by TSM, still a high priority on that champion. Bjergsen wants it. It's the only mid lane ban was this LeBlanc.
Yeah,
it's like Rengar still believed to be king here for Immortals.
Everybody's super confident with, blind picking the Ryze at the moment. Next patch, maybe not so much, but we're still currently on 7.4. And a lot of people have talked about how there's definitely less importance on the Cassiopeia pick into it. Some people still like the angles and do like it as a slight advantage, but others are happy to power right on through.
Yeah, and of course we don't see a ton of Ryze. He's banned very often, but Ryze is weaker than he was in the beginning of the season. Cassiopeia has not, I believe, gotten any huge nerfs outside of our Flash is gone. That's pretty minor, but not going to be rushed for the Lulu, not going to be rushed for the Cassiopeia. Nautilus Rengar grabbed early. Immortals wanting to play a tank top.
Yeah, and talk about tank tops. Maokai got some very significant nerfs. Nautilus is really risen as the new king, I guess. Only slightly above the others, but still definitely holds his place above. See if they answer jungle here for TSM. I would expect, I mean, last time they did go with the Kha'Zix and answer.
Yeah.
But Graves is also definitely one of my favorites.
Okay, Lulu going to be added to the roster, and now TSM has to figure out, do they want to match? The thing is, they can't match all the roles. So do you match jungle, do you match top, or do you take the only bot laner you care about and try to really pinch from there? I would expect, and I don't know what I expect, honestly. It's up to TSM.
Well, I will step out there for jungle, just because I feel like top lane has a lot more diversity at the moment. All right, I got it maybe right, because this is a flexible pick.
True.
The answer, in fact, Freak, is both. Gragas can definitely go top, can definitely go jungle as well at the moment, so TSM have solved that issue. Haha!
Alrighty, they have at least one here, and I would generally expect it to be into the jungle. I think it's better for the champion, but you never know. It's up to them. Certainly plenty of magic damage on the roster, and I think no surprise that Cassiopeia is the hover, still perceived to be the best pick into the matchup.
It is interesting because a lot of people, when they talk about the pros of the top Gragas, is kind of, lane phase into other tanks. So, okay. Definitely a very viable flex at the moment.
Fair enough.
So a good first round here from TSM, I believe. Let's see where they decide to pinch next. As, half-heartedly the lanes have been answered. Maybe TSM will ban out the support role and try and actually break up that Lulu Karma trade we talked about. They could just ignore it though and let the other shielding support go on over.
Looks like Immortals think it's jungle Greg to the top lane ban right now at the Rumble. Saying, no, we think you're still going to pick your top laner. They seem to be happy playing Nautilus into Gragas itself, and that's what those bans tell me at the very least. There is the Karma predicted. Good job. Proud of you.
Get her out of here. Now we finally get to see some interesting support play.
Hey.
I don't know. I'm okay with the shield spamming and everybody just throwing out random skill shots at each other in the bottom lane. But a little variety is nice, Freak. Spice up my life, please.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to spice it up with a Kha'Zix ban. So it will be a new jungler for Svenskeren regardless, but Immortals clearly not sure which one they were going to go for.
They split the difference here. They're like, all right, well.
It's still up to you. We're going to remove one from each side.
Honestly, though, the highest priorities from either side. Since Shen and Renekton were already banned, there was a lot of value in that Rumble ban. So these are the reasons that are going into it. Whereas TSM, as I said, it's much easier since the support role was the one left unanswered. And they not only break up the Karma-Lulu trade, but also take you a step down, even below Zyra.
So 4 supports off the table, 3 being bans, 1 being picked away.
Could as well still be a Nautilus flex into support if we want to keep all of our windows open.
And we'll see right now, not going to be minimized just yet, as we're going to be picked up in the bot lane with no bot laner bans aside from the Varus and down towards the 7th pick of the game. Ezreal still prized. Ashe maybe against it. Decided between Ashe and Jhin. Either way, it's going to be utility focused. We'll see. Jin's a bit better, stronger in solo queue, but Hawkshot can be great for tracking a jungler. That's what's going to be here for the Rengar.
Also,
Ashe comes in.
Ashe benefits a lot more than Jhin from the Lulu with the extra attack speed. And yeah, I mean, it could be a Graves top, could be a Graves jungle. So those are still switchable.
You really think Graves could play top?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he can, but you think it's going to happen, though?
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't either.
I do. I think that it's possible, though.
It is possible. I think it's still a strong champion.
It's more likely than some super random picks.
Well, that's true. I would think Graves top is more likely than like Shyvana top, for example. But Bard going to round out the lineup, so I guess you're right. It does get more exciting when you get champs like this. Ole, definitely a good Bard player. Going to bring it out here. That's going to be fun to deal with. TSM's comp, honestly, fairly slow for most of them, and I think we can definitely get some good Tempered Fates here.
Yeah, definitely. You know, bringing back Ole's Bard, I'm excited to see if they can combo this, because there's a lot of potential here.
Yeah.
They have super good dive buddies with the Rengar and Nautilus, and an incredibly high-powered backline as well. So if you land a good Bard ultimate, like that can set you up for a sweeping team fight.
Yeah, you've got 4 big AoE ultis from Immortals right now. You can land the 3-shot barrage against it, Cassie ult against it, and the Nautilus follow-up is there. So team fight power is here, and Dardoch, if he has the same early game as last time, could break this game apart.
Meanwhile, on TSM side, the Ashe Arrow picks have been crucial in the mid-game when people have been wandering around. And the Rise ultimates, we've already seen Bjergsen have a lot of YouTube highlights with those ones.
Yes.
Help out with some rotations, help out with those objective trading maneuvers that you do get to when you're closer to ending it out.
Yep, he's got a big brain. We'll see if he can make this one happen here. TSM, 200 IQ plays. We'll see if they can put that together. But it's going to be a fun one. TSM down 1 game in this series. Immortals with a very well-played early game. Dardoch basically 2-0'd Svenskeren in the first, 8 minutes of the game. 6 minutes of the game, something like that. Something ridiculous. Smashed him open in the jungle.
And he's back on Rengar.
He's back on Rengar. This time maybe a different matchup with the Graves coming through for Svenskeren, and TSM hoping to bounce back from a Game 1 loss that they so very often suffer. You can see TSM several banners denoting that they have been several-time North American champs, but now, here we go. Game 2, TSM looking for the comeback, hoping to take control of first. But if Immortals can close this one out, they end the week in a 4th place tie. Better than so many expected from Immortals, but they can do it with Dardoch on point, with Ole feeling better about his spot in the team. Immortals could make this 11th hour climb in the standings.
And man, is it getting exciting here from that playoff race. TSM obviously do want to push this to game number 3 so they can remain near the top side. Talking about the playoff race, I mean, even the buys are still highly prized as well.
At this point, Phoenix 1 is only, I think, 2 matches behind 2nd place, and if TSM loses, 2 matches behind 1st place, with 4 to play for all the squads at the end of the week.
And with Cloud9 losing, they could actually, finally move ahead.
We'll see. Of course, Phoenix 1 nor Cloud9 not in this game, but let's see what happens. Early poke by Wild Turtle. I know the crowd went wild. Unintentional pun. But TSM, they got the ward. 10 gold to Hanser. Way bigger lead than what Wild Turtle got. TSM smashing the early game.
Well, they're going to continue on with this invade, it looks like. Dardoch does not want to give up on his red quadrant, though. He is staying here. Flame is ready to help him out, and they will converge on this. It's 2 opposite sides, though. That's always dangerous because the 2-member TSM squad can just turn on you.
Yep. Do some damage to the Raptors. Here comes
That's more than
Ole
two, though!
with the early roam. Sven Karen gets some of it. Pillboard here as well. Sven on the wrong side of this fight. Satchel's over the wall, and Sven, there's no chance he lives
start
here.
counting now. What was it? 4 seconds. 5 seconds.
Dardoch has a kill.
6 seconds.
Like 100% Dardoch has a kill, but it's actually going to be a lot of damage out of Sven. Dardoch has to respect this a little bit. Damage is there. 400 gold. No assist, but it only would have been 100 gold. And Dardoch has 3 straight kills on Sven Skaren in the early game.
Holy moly. That, I mean, it just feels like they're not respecting, not thinking about like anything here. The longer that you stay in vision in enemy territory, you have to assume that they're sending more people over, right? So if you are not sending more team members, then you just have to assume you're going to be outnumbered. This is the enemy jungle. They can easily send more people, and Ole heads over, and they chase him right out of that one. Dardoch, once again, will be feeling very confident here. Let's see if he can snowball in a similar fashion, because it's not quite as devastating. Bottom lane actually going super aggro.
The flash Q, the Ignite is on, but it's not enough damage. Now Cody Sun's forced to kite. He's got minion aggro. Takes a lot of damage from Biofrost.
Oh man, the cannon plus ranged minions there did just as much as the Ignite and autos from Ole onto Wild Turtle. So in fact, after the trade, both AD carries end up at similar health pools.
And worth pointing out that when Ole did roam up, Cody's Sun was denied. Cody actually missed pretty much the entire first wave.
Pretty funny continued invade though. The reason why TSM bottom lane was coming from that angle, Sven Skaren went back at it. Died inside enemy jungle, goes back to the invade, takes away blue right after grabbing his own red.
Yep, and that's level 3 for both these junglers just now grabbed, so XP a bit equal, but of course an extra longsword makes Dardoch happy. Kind of knows what happened with the Graves. You can see the Scuttle Crab ring near his side of the map. Smite up for both these players. Nice pickup by Sven. Well played there. Dardoch getting a lot of damage, so he's going to go for the play. One more hit will do it, but he's under the turret. Dardoch, good luck, buddy.
Yeah, don't give an assist. Don't give any extra money over, and you don't want exactly the buffs or the money to a mid laner, else you get flamed by your mid laner.
Bit more damage across, but Summoner Heal used by Cody Sun for the chase power doesn't turn into much. It is Wild Turtle pushed away, though, but look at this, a 10-minion lead. Going to be softened slightly. Yeah. Very interesting bot lane all the same.
Definitely a slugfest, but all in all, gold evened back up here for TSM because of the... Ooh, actually, wait around a bit, just a quick trade, never mind. Because of the continued proactive moves, even after failing on the initial invade.
Bo Belter up against Jensen, having a bit of a better time than he has been for much of the year. He vindicated himself nicely yesterday against High, and he did pretty well in Game 1 against TSM. Bo Belter had been very down on himself for how he had been playing. He was, and maybe still is, the mid lane death leader in the North American LCS. But I believe he's 3 deathless games in a row now, and hoping to fix that record.
Also, best Katarina so far in the North American LCS.
Fair.
And only.
Who he played a while back.
Oh.
Wasn't as good as Bo Belter's, though.
You know what? You're right. I retract my statement. He also had a pretty good game, so.
Yeah, I'm right about something.
Woo! You got me. Regardless, though, had another good opening game in this series. Got a good matchup in this particular game as well. And should be able to even up these CS pretty neatly.
And looks like good things are ahead for Immortals right here. And well, it's the 100 goldie for TSM, though. They're actually winning in farm in a lot of places. The bot lane up 12 right now. Ole's roam did hurt Cody Sun a little bit, but also you can make complaints for how Immortals played the duo lane a little bit. Let's see, as Wild Turtle is the biggest leader on the team right now.
Yeah, this bottom lane has been feisty, and you can tell with Ole's Ignite coming back up and the exhaust, pretty similar timing from Biofrost. The supports are going to feel definitely like they have options to go aggressive again. Meanwhile, both AD carries still worried about the junglers. Hawkshot goes out, just barely misses Dardoch. That might give false confidence, actually. And Dardoch heads right down. That Hawkshot barely passed by him, didn't see him. He's not level 6 yet, so that's definitely something for TSM bottom lane. They don't have to be as worried, but might just take a Bard tunnel.
They're going to try for it right on a Biofrost and Turtle. A couple of slows are there.
Oh.
That's not going to go for the root, but for the extra Q. The damage comes across. Dardoch has 3 kills now. Jumps in from the rush.
I really like that. At first I was like, oh, why did Ole go for that odd angle? You can gain more distance with the bar tunnel, you know, get slightly further into the middle of the lane, but he went right into the brush so Dardoch could hop off of it.
Yeah, very smart.
For this ward, yeah. Very
right there.
Intelligent move. They didn't even get a chance to see Dardoch before he was on top. So you set up the snowball freak.
Yep.
Another kill for Dardoch. Bottom lane is snowballing.
Yep. The entire game scoreline is Dardoch. Just 3-1-0 is exactly what's going
All
on there.
kills and deaths belong to him.
Yep. All champion combat is just Dardoch. And it's good because he, again, has been inconsistent. He's had some really bad games. And I always like when players do well regardless of what team they're on. And Dardoch playing well is good for him and good for Immortals fans, good for Dardoch fans. And maybe bright things ahead for him. Game's still very close, so the thing is the farm has been going very much TSM's way. Despite these kills, it is a tied game.
That's a perfect point, Freak, because while it is similar in the fact that Dardoch is snowballing, the overall game is not snowballing. And you can't really carry over a defensive mindset from your previous game. TSM, since they have, you know, dropped quite a few single games in best of threes, are definitely not a team that does that. You know, they don't carry over past failures into this game. It won't be playing too scared, but you have to keep this in mind as this is not the similar situation where the entire game is getting out of control.
Sure.
Immortals have to definitely be wary.
And I think they can, though. I feel like Dardoch and Ole are playing very well together. Keep in mind, Cody Sun's on Ezreal, which is the best possible bot laner for a 1v2 lane. And Ole's running around, like, helping Dardoch steal stuff. He gives him magical journeys out of the jungle and all this, and it feels like good things are coming. Yeah. I do think that the chances of snowballing this game are still there. Flame and Hawks are spotted in the 1v1, and but they're not going to find much of a trade on a Bjergsen, but Dardoch looks like he wants top lane in a tank-v-tank matchup. Oh. Over the wall, stun's going to be there, and a missed flash by Flame does nothing. Yeah, and now it's going to be a burned ulti. Going to get onto the jump, going to get the kill. Now Dardoch has to choose how to use the ferocity. It's going to be for more damage. The double kill comes through once again. The scoreline is Dardoch versus TSM.
Yeah, Dardoch said, what are you talking about? Overall game state? I am the game state. 5 more kills. Jeez. All right, yeah, he's able to clean up this whoopsie-daisy flash from Flame. At first I was like, wait, did he pull some kind of crazy flash cancel animation combo? No. That was just a mistell there on the flash. And then he's able to get this one as well with Pobelter roaming up.
And that was crucial that Pobelter roamed before Bjergsen did, because Poet has been hard pushing the lane the entire time. And Dardoch coming up, or sorry, Sven coming up, I don't know if you realized that Bjergsen was late to the play.
Exactly, and it's something to talk about when the overall game gold in the game is similar, but if your jungler is fed, it does so much more because the enemy team has to guess where that gold is and where that power is, and it allows the mid lane to confidently push up like that, even more so than maybe he would be, considering the mid lane CS is actually pretty close. And Bjergsen actually had a little bit extra money in his pockets, but has to definitely give way due to the matchup, due to the extra jungle support and the warding that's coming through.
While this game, the gold lead finally is meaningful for Immortals. They finally opened themselves up here. Bot lane is stabilizing and farm, mid lane the same.
And, you know, while we're watching the tanks bang on each other, the Dardoch invading once again, taking away this blue buff and dropping a lot of those advanced wards deep into the enemy jungle on the actual camp here, not just the routes as well. TSM trying to take away a sneaky Infernal Drake, though.
Yep.
And no vision. I think they should be able to get away with it.
Nicely done. You mentioned it. You don't always know where the gold lead is, but in this case, the gold lead is over on the top lane with Dardoch on that Rengar switching the blue. And it's going to be a couple of seconds bot by Ole. Looking for the steal. Not probably going to happen. There's a good smite, and Sven jumps the wall. But good by TSM to figure out. I don't know if they deduced where he was or if they just managed to get the play because of the bot lane priority, but losing team sneaks a Drake is well played.
Again, like we said for last game, TSM, they're making plays on the opposite side of the map, you know, trying to get things in the strong side for them. Inferno is definitely one of the biggest prizes that they could come away with at this point. They'd be very happy to rely on that one because they still have all their turrets. You know, they can still try and grind out this farm. It is a bit difficult to avoid Rengar, but we'll see how they're able to react because they do have Ash Arrow. Bjergsen should be able to gain a lot of distance as far as catching up in the roaming, even if Poe Belter gets the first step, you know, you can always realm warp to try and make up a little bit of difference there.
See what they can get next. Dardoch still wants to be powerful and roam around the map and be the gold lead. He is going for some lethalities. There you go. You've got the more aggressive Rengar build at your fingertips. Going towards what's probably a Youmuu's, checks for some wards, and here comes the bot lane dive. Can it be matched? Ooh, nice knockup. Well played by Biofrost. Perfect timing. Blocks all of the damage on Wild Turtle, but doesn't matter because the bot lane push is here. We'll have to wait for the next wave, but it's a good true shot barrage. It'll buy a few turret shots back.
Yeah, TSM trying to make up time there on the mid lane, and Immortals make a good call to not bring every single person. They don't need Poe Belter all the way down on the bottom side to ensure that they get that one. And he just stops the counter push from TSM. Wow, almost
They can't quite get it.
Olay wasn't there.
Flash out of Dardoch, Arcane Shift out of Cody Sun, grabs a quick couple of health relics and speeds away. The flash, the knockback beautifully done by Hanser, and Dardoch is the goalie, but he's also the shutdown. And the kill comes through to Wild Turtle, making it 2-5.
So I don't think they needed Poe Belter, but they did need Olay. He went off on one of those chime journeys for Bard, I think, warding up in the red quadrant jungle. Without his extra damage, they didn't finish off the turret. TSM turned it around. They get the shutdown on the guy that had every single kill.
Yep.
It's actually a large chunk of gold and almost brought the whole game back to even it once again if you consider the turret as well.
Absolutely, a lot of money just flooding in the TSM coffers off that play. Nicely done by them. They managed to play around the deficit very, very well. Yeah, it's a mistake by Immortals. Still, props to TSM for getting that flank off.
Exactly. I mean, the reason Immortals felt so confident there in sending off Poe Belter and then even Olay, which probably was ill-advised, was because how well, you know, the game was going for Dardoch in particular. But TSM, they see them split and they inch back in, a little bit dangerous, but it pays off very big.
It really does. And now TSM can feel much better about this one. If it doesn't involve Dardoch, TSM have more gold as a team thanks to the turrets.
Roaming up to the top side here. There's not only these two in the bush, but also coming up the river. You see a couple.
No. Oh, it's Biofrost in front of him. Gets the double wild growth, but the roots are there. A ton of CC and a couple more shots will do it. Can't quite turn it around. But what a nicely aimed shot right there. Stun into the wall. One kill picked up. Make it two. The roam is there. And a safe magical journey out. Nicely done. The Immortals tower dive works beautifully.
Let's see the aftermath. Bjergsen's trying to roam to the other side. Actually, now he's just changing his mind, recalling. No play gonna happen, and it's an unanswered top dive here from Immortals. Get the kills. Stick around for more.
Garrett, he's actually just catastrophically misplaying this game. Gives away another kill.
Good stop there. Good stop there by Flame at the end, too, because there were no more minions left. Just on the outside of the range. The tower would have swapped back over to Dardoch and landed that kill, but he stops on the edge, lets him out.
Yep.
Yeah. I have done that before where I killed a teammate in that way, but here we go. Here's this move. As we said, you know, they were moving up with the roam from Olay as well, bringing Poe Belter once again.
And Olay's trying to run away under his turret. Answer's got grasp. They got the damage, and TSM do get a trade kill back. And finally, Dardoch has not 100% of his team's deaths. Another kill comes through for TSM. And they're inching their way back into this game, but you know, other than that nice bot lane first turret pickup, it's still been Immortals making some really great plays and breaking this game open for them.
Yeah. Definitely some much needed gold there for TSM. Their pickup of the kill on Olay, but not going to make up any meaningful ground as far as tower damage or, you know, any sort of vision control. So they're still in the thick of it here. And while a lot of people give, you know, TSM a lot of room with losing the first game in a series because they have this kind of history of coming back in them, and making a lot of big improvements further on, it gets very scary when you start looking at you know, kill discrepancies like this in game number 2. So they definitely have to buckle it up if they want to keep a little wide here.
Yeah.
When you've got this big of a lead in this series as well as this particular game.
I mean, it's Dardoch especially. Looking at individual gold totals, there is not anyone aside from Olay who's ahead on gold who's not named Dardoch. Flames behind, Sabot's behind, Cody Sun's behind 400 gold. It really is about the two roamers that have to actually create the plays for Immortals.
Yeah. And in general, the strategy against Rengars that are going full damage like this, right into lethality, is not only to patch up your defenses with a little armor, but also to group up a little bit more. You know, have the buddy system enacted, go hand in hand, because you don't want to give him any sort of, you know, one-on-one or even sometimes one-on-two potential. Power in numbers, safety in numbers, I guess there is the key for TSM.
As long as it contains Dardoch, though, they're able to get this. So Cloud Drake goes over to Immortals. Of course, the last one was taken by TSM as a trade for a blue buff steal.
Interesting. Flame's getting pretty tanky, but he doesn't have armor. So Svenskeren on the top side seems like more of a counter gank situation. Trying to screen for Hunter there. Because that is a fairly tanky Nautilus, even though he doesn't have armor. And, you know, Svenskeren would be able to do quite a bit.
God, I just wonder if there's anything to do in the bot lane, but right now there's not. Bjergsen not playing aggressively on a Pobelter, who is playing very much past the river. And Dardoch only has a few wards to give and can't give him a lot of vision to make the split push safe.
Yeah, speaking of vision, most of it is around mid lane for Immortals. They've been trying to move it up a bit into the jungle, but TSM currently are a bit thin. And they have 2 control wards in inventory that they're going to try and work around, but they don't have a lot of options as far as areas to go for any sort of turnaround plays. That's why Sven's kind of moving up and down the river, looking for a mid or top lane counter gank, depending on who's pushing the wave at the moment.
Right now, the 2,000 gold difference, it's enough for TSM to work from. But it is Immortals in the driver's seat as long as they can do Dardoch.
Look at this play here from Bjergsen. He's running up the lane behind Hanser here. They really are putting a lot of effort into setting up counter plays because they're thinking that Dardoch might go for the top side. After the recall is completed here, though, they're going to have Hanser hold onto the minions down bottom while they try and overload top side to get a trade. Those turret trades we're talking about is the best you really hope for when you're down like this. So they send everyone to just shove it down, and hopefully for them, Hanser will survive. But they got quite a few people.
I feel like Ole can just ult and they can stack on top of him, but it's not going to happen here. Bot lane tier 2 traded for top lane outer. Cody's going to try to wave through with his own ult.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Dardoch was bottom. Now he's going for turtle.
A lot of damage. Oh my word, that is some damage up. But staying alive, flashes in, does get the kill, but he's going to lose his life, and I'm not really sure if it's worth it. Well, gets away an assist on it.
Here come the rest of Immortals, and Temper Fate is still available.
Gonna find Bjergsen, 4v4, but they're missing their goalie. This fight's gonna be close. Stun to Bjergsen, Pobelter. CC'd up for a bit, the damage onto the back line. They're gonna try to blow up the Rise. He's not quite gonna go down. Finally, they get it for Pobelter, but it's a trade of mid laners. 1 down on each side. Now Hanser being chased. Flame's gonna land. The Root gonna land a bit more damage. Cody's still on the chase. It is a 3 versus 3. Not gonna land the stun as Ole. As a flash get him out of range. Just a 2-for-2 fight. Decent for TSM, I feel like.
Oof, very good. Talking about trading, even though it's not, they didn't, you know, make a whole bunch of gold off of this. Trading is kind of the best deals that you really hope for in those situations. And man, Dardoch just powers through this one. Feels like, you know what? If I kite, they're gonna chase me down. The exhaust slow will chain into ash slows, and if I get too far away from this brush, I have no surprise left to turn anything around. He does get the kill, and then this is the ensuing collapse. Even though Ole had a really good combo there onto Bjergsen, Pobelter had a similar sort of situation here where Hanser got in, and Hanser was able to take out the enemy mid laner around the same time with Svenskeren's DPS. So TSM were able to get a good chunk in exchange there.
Yeah. Worth noting, of course, that was Immortals burning their teleport to get into this play in the first place. So while Flame is 0-0-6, it was an extra cooldown used by the Immortal squad.
Definitely true. I mean, you got to chalk up every little bit here. And you can't forget about that sneaky Infernal Drake TSM got earlier. That one starts really paying off here.
See if they can keep reaping dividends on this one. Bjergsen's beginning to scale up. He's got the Rod of Age. That's at 5 stacks. He's not far away from finishing Seraph's next. Now a blue buff as well means teamfight power is in for Rise.
Yeah. TSM actually might consider themselves, you know, the ones with the initiative because they have that teleport and they have Ash Arrow ready. Dardoch laying in wait.
Just getting destroyed. Nicely done. Chodo gets the boosts up from Lulu and out they go.
What they're waiting for here is Pobelter. The Cassiopeia is a huge part of your DPS in any sort of skirmish, so Without him, they didn't want to pull the trigger on mid lane, and they end up giving that turret more money to
For
TSM.
bot lane, Dardoch looping through the jungle. Ole's coming around as well. Temper Fate buys the time they need, and bit of a missed shot there with the grounding, and Dardoch actually pushed out of the jungle, nearly dies the fight. But it should be enough to kill off Hanser. No way out for that one. And yes, Pawilter gets the kill.
Yeah, Dardoch kind of screens for them there. Although he almost died, he kept some scans from entering that little skirmish, and Immortals do pick up a kill on the long lane there, but it's not going to provide them a lot of pressure as top lane pushed all the way up to your turret, so you kind of have to send Flame up there, and they want him to grab those minions.
Will miss some to the turret. You can see it's already in combat there, and yeah, the wave's actually gone, so hey, goodbye Bjergsen to get something done. Gold only 1,200 apart. TSM actually up in turret kills thanks to their pretty good split pushing overall this game. Immortals have yet to crack top lane outer actually. Or mid lane, and they've gotten 2 in the bot lane. That's right, that's what happened. They have not really gotten outer turrets at all. Their split pushing has not been happening.
And you have to keep track of the deep wards as well, because you can mention, yeah, we have a teleport advantage, but if you don't have wards to use it on, then it really doesn't have that much threat behind it. Speaking of those outer towers, though, Freak.
Dardoch going to share the gold. Make sure dives a bit faster and puts the goalie back to 2K. Immortals going to hard shove this wave as well. And keep in mind, Bjergsen's pushing the bot lane while Pawilter's soloing this Cloud Drake. Not going to be stopped doing so. But it will be a wave in the bot lane that Immortals will have to answer at some point, or they just lose the gold. And Pawilter wants in. He's not going to find much for it.
Hello!
It's going to be the battle against Bjergsen. The chase is there. The slows the CC. He's just running for him now. Someone heal to buy some time. And here comes the re-engagement. Cody's son has joined the fight. Nothing to be had yet as Ole is going to lose his life for that one. The nice re-engage by TSM off the Ash Arrow. Nice fight away, and it's going to be a survival for the bot lane. Biofrost gets away. Nicely done, TSM. They get that kill onto Ole.
Yeah, definitely touch and go there. Immortals would have lost more there, but they had such extensive vision. They saw the TSM collapse. All in all, though, still, TSM happy to get gold, even if it's at the cost of giving up these Cloud Drakes. This does mean that it's going to be a very fast Rengar when he comes at you with the ultimate, but TSM would like just any sort of extra kills or extra minion waves they can push up, just in order to get the combat stats here for their team fight, or just the power to kill whoever gets hit with the Ash Arrow, because this game is fairly close as far as combat power does go. Only a couple thousand gold doesn't really make a huge difference in inventory.
Yeah. Yeah, really worth pointing out. Power spikes are through for some of these members, and we'll see what can happen in this game. His 1,500 gold lead is basically nothing. Hanser, Iceborne Gauntlet, part of Sunfire Cape. He's got damage output to spare now at this point.
Again, I'm looking at Ole. They are roaming up for another pick here. The Bard and Rengar combo, good at picking.
Lands is slow. You have to chase him. Bjergsen, you can keep going for this one. Rengar ulti spots him. That could be the damage. The jump from the brush, and Dardoch can't quite get it. Pawilter will lands the poison, and the kill comes through against the TSM mid laner.
All right, Hanser is pushing on the bottom side for TSM, so now they're trying to just stall here. Pings onto Baron already. This is a 25-minute Baron with very incomplete vision.
But it's going to be enough. Hanser on the other side of the map does have teleport, and here comes TSM coming into the mid lane.
Teleport channeling now, 8,000 health on Baron. It's dropping quickly, though.
Trying to rush this down. It's going to be a 5v4 inside the pit. How's it going to go? Sven's going to get the steal. He does seem to have smite. It's going to be heal off towards Hanser. They're going to jump across the wall, but Sven's stuck in the pit, and he can't kill Baron just yet. He's still trying, but they've gotten a kill on a Pawilter. Sven's going to run out of HP. They've already killed off Dardoch, though. TSM's winning this fight, and Sven's going to get it. What a catastrophe for Immortals at 3 for 0, and it's going to be more. Cody's son's not going to find much. The ace plus the Baron in the 4v5 for TSM.
Holy moly, they've got a huge minion wave as well. What a giant turnaround. An ace without giving up anybody, getting a Baron, getting a bunch of turrets. This game is now tremendously in TSM's favor. They should be able to get inhibitor turret off this easily.
They're going to get a ton right now, 10 seconds or more on the average recall as TSM have the faintest of minion waves. A couple of casters walking in now, and this will be at least the inhibitor turret. I don't know if they stay for the inhib. They will not. They'll grab their gold and leave with their 5,000 benefit.
Ooh, tragedy strikes the Immortals lineup here. They got a successful pick onto Bjergsen, but TSM come in with the 4v5, plus Sven is doing Baron this whole time, so it's almost a 3v5 team fight. but then Immortals are also split as Dardoch tried to go back to then answer the smite to Baron. Baron played the 6th man here, getting multiple kills, and they get the full chase here for TSM.
Those health bars were so low. You know, if Immortals played that fight better, they would have outdamaged them and gotten the kills off, but there was some level of split focus. They went back to fight Svensker instead of killing the rest of the team, and ended up giving the kills away to that, and you can see the damage output in that fight. Wild Turtle, 6,000, just safe in the back line, did all the damage needed. Baron Nashor, I'm sure, did even more, but still, good by Wild Turtle.
Baron did low damage.
Not going to land the Tempered Fate either. Chunk got a Poe Belter down below half HP. And the top lane pushes in. TSM likely to knock this turret down. Lead of 4,000 gold, going to become 5 here. Arrow hits Cody Sun, but the Arcane shifts a bit to safety. They're going to be okay with that one.
I think they are even done yet. I mean, oh, Bjergsen going for the Realm Warp into the inhibitor.
And here they are, all 5 are in. That's going to be a dropped in hit rapidly. Ole, not much to do. Redemption to heal. Nicely done, TSM, make the play.
Holy moly. I mean, this Baron power play, they still have 1 minute and 20 seconds left on it, and they've got almost their more than their entire lead off of that single play.
And Immortals have to recoup. They have to recover from this.
Yeah.
Whether in this game or the next. TSM came back from a game where Dardoch was like individually 6-1 or something silly, and they managed to make the mid-game play they needed. Immortals kicking themselves for this Baron call. But this is still a winnable game on either side. It is a lead for TSM, absolutely. But it's within comeback range. We'll see if Immortals can do much about it. Right now, though, Wild Turtle is huge. He's got 50% crit. He's got a Bloodthirst to make sure he survives the attempted Rengar dives, and it should be just fine for him. Bot lane siege continues for TSM, and this turret is going to be dropped down. Immortals cannot defend against Baron like this.
All right, well, TSM finally able to take a moment to breathe here as they've cleaned up not only all the outer turrets, but they've got super minions to work with. Baron will be timing out for the next push, but super minions should provide enough pressure on mid that they can transition over to the bottom wave. Continue some siege. It's like they're fishing for Ash Arrows at the moment. They'll retreat and grab that Drake. I don't think Immortals would walk into this part of the jungle, though.
Doesn't seem like they will right now. TSM holding onto the map, and honestly, fighting for an Ocean Drake this late not going to mean a lot. It's a free team to give away. Immortals only controlling some mini waves right now and licking their wounds. TSM, it's on them now. They're the driving team, and they can set up for, I guess, either top or bot lane. It's several minutes from Baron and even longer till the next dragon. So all it's left to do is push for another inhibitor turret, or you play for rewards for 3 minutes straight and eventually go for the Baron. I guess both are options.
I mean, look how quickly the vision has swapped as well.
Oh, yeah.
Immortals trapped inside for the entire duration of Baron means, you know, anything they had outside of their base walls even started to time out. So they're just trying to set up the first line of defensive vision. You can see that giant hump in the gold difference as it swings tremendously in their favor. Circling up once again, though. Trying to work with the pressure of super minions. TSM going 4-1.
Gonna get a play. Haunts are in the bot lane, the rest of the team going back and forth mid to top. There's the wave shove, and now Wild Turtle joins his team in the top side. Turtle, the kill leader on his team now, doing pretty well on the back side. Still with that defensive build of that Bloodthirst, so no other items added yet to the inventory. As far as gold, Turtle sits on 1,200. Here we go, top lane play. TSM waiting for the rotations. Those are not coming yet. No real rush to siege this. Yeah, I heard it too, but...
Sounded like a round.
I know. I heard it too. I don't know what it was.
We've been had.
There it is. All right, they're going to go to the bot side because the wave is there, and that's a Tempered Fate to buy some time. True Shot Barrage. They got a flash out of the stuns, and it's, whoa, damage on a Biofrost. The re-engage Svensker and caught on that side of the wall. They've got plenty of damage from the Cassiopeia. Going to burn him down. There's the kill picked up. The marksman is down. Nicely played. Ole set that up, and the team followed through.
Overdive there by TSM, and the Bard once again shining here for Immortals. Ole, we heard in that little video that only recently did he have the confidence that his teammates, weren't blaming him for things, and it gave him that confidence to speak up. He's also playing quite well. Let's take a look here. Catches 3. Layers it right on top of the Realm Warp, so he gets a bunch of them. It is one of the easier ones to land, but that's not it. They then land a bunch of hooks. Stuns Svenskeren up against this wall as well. Take down the jungler. That buys them crucial time to clear out that super minion wave. Wait for this inhibitor spawn back up again.
And speaking of crucial timing, he actually canceled quick draw from Svenskeren. He had just started jumping the wall. Within an 1/8 of a second, the anchor landed on him. And it's unlucky for Sven. You can't plan those things. It just happened, but still fortunate for Immortals to guarantee that kill, or Sven would have gotten out. But it's a small consolation. The inhibitor's going to respawn soon for Immortals. It'll be back up in time for the Baron buff. That's actually pretty crucial timing, to be fair. But it's a 5,000 gold deficit still for Immortals to work through. And Cody-san had sidetracked his build. He's got a Cutlass and a Last Whisper, neither completed items. It's a bit painful, to be honest. We know that this Cassiopeia can carry teamfights. Level 17 has 3 big items, 4 big items actually.
Yeah, and if we are going to see constant teamfights here too, keep your eyes on Dardoch. It's much more difficult to teamfight as the DPS-focused Rengar rather than going full tank there. Really needs to wait for Flame to get inside and create some space for him, but he can have a devastating effect if he's able to single out one of those squishy members.
Let's see if they can get it. TSM into the mid lane. Of course, they know there's no turret defending the inhibitor, and with a 5,000 gold lead, TSM are generally supposed to win the fights. Immortals must outplay them to change that fate. TSM push mid, they go back into the jungle, wards behind them, and look at that, it's a bunch of fog of war. Rengar will pop for vision. TSM are running through some wards, only gonna get hit up, but thankfully there's a wall in the way, and Cody-san dodges the arrow. That could have been a catastrophe. And Immortals barely get away with that one. They could have died. Pepper Fate hits the back lane. Dardoch's got to be careful. He's running out of HP rapidly. Only almost gets killed by Ryze. They find Turtle, though, and Povelter's into that one. They pick off the bot lane, and it's a support death as well as Ole's dropped the 1-for-1, but a better one. The root on Svenskeren. That's a dead Craves living up to his name. He's gone. He's 6 feet under. And Immortals, oh no, we've seen this before.
Oh, Baron again?
for Baron is a risk. They're going to try, though.
They should 100% turn this one once they see TSM.
They're not going to try.
They're burning it.
They're trying to burn it down. They have the spike. Don't screw it up, Dardoch, and he's going to land this one. Hans for the front line. Poets are running out of HP. They're going to burn down the mid laner, you have to assume, but GA is popped in. Flame is tanky. Bjergsen gets the kill. He trades the mid laner. Cody's forced to run. Hanser's in. He's going to find a punch for himself, and IMT just will not learn their lessons. They keep burning against TSM and losing their team for it.
100% turn, freak. Turn that one. Oh, I mean, that is the cost of funneling all of your cooldowns into the Baron. Okay, so let's go over that later, because this actually might be the end of the game. TSM are going in.
25 seconds of the respawns. There's 3 members here, with Hanser joining Bile, Frost, and Bjergsen. Bot inhibitor is dead. Mid inhibitor could be a target.
Will they go for the Nexus turrets or switch to the second inhibitor?
Going for turrets. They're going for the game. TSM's trying to close the game out right now. They need this one to bring the series back. They've caught Ole. There's the kill immediately. 8 seconds on Povos, or 8 seconds on Cody's son. They've got the time. This should be the game going home. A few more seconds on the respawn. It's going to be a tight timing. And TSM now looking for the Nexus. The arrow's not going to land. Here comes the re-engage. Povos are trying to stop this one in its tracks. And it's still a full HP. 3v4. Flames up in 3 seconds, and TSM are going to get pushed back a little bit.
They're still here. They got all 5 members.
They're going to try to close the game out right now. Svenskeren still cutting back and forth. Flame looking for it. Anchor's not going to land. Dardoch going to get rooted up. Almost gets his life taken away. But Hanser chased down. The stun is there. Mid inhibitor's dead, but the chase is in. 1 kill comes through. Cody, so not going to find anything else, but a shutdown means it's a 5v4 for now. The Immortals hold on to their base just barely.
Holy moly. All right, we'll take another look at it now. Even though the enemy jungler is dead and you're not going to have this smited away, you lose so much health, so much of your own DPS is on cooldown from burning Baron. Look at Dardoch doesn't get to do anything. Pobelter was so low life that he gets chunked out super quickly, and then Guardian Angel on Hanser means he cleans up those 2.
And it was great by Bjergsen too, his target selection. He switched over to kill the Cassiopeia. That was massive. But Immortals still using the fact that Hanser's dead, but it's TSM just gonna win the game. It's over, and TSM ties it up. Good call right there. It was a Realm Warp from TSM. It's already hard to leave your base when you're down on inhibitors and turrets. It's impossible against Rise. TSM chant from the audience, and well-deserved. Maybe some help from Immortals. Both those Baron calls were catastrophes. But TSM had the gum between Immortals and TSM, and we'll see if Dardoch and Go can make it happen.
All right. Are we going to find the LeBlanc, the Varus? Which one's it going to be?
The Malzahar, the Shen.
No, it's going to be either LeBlanc or Varus.
And then it's going to be
You owe me.
No, I don't.
Okay. Fine.
I didn't bet it wasn't going to be. I was adding other options. I was adding all 6 bans. You're just claiming the first side, red side ban.
Why are you going one at a time here, buddy?
We weren't going in order.
Now, the question is, though, honestly, do they want to ban out the Shen versus Hanser? Because last time they took the Rumble right into it. Very happy to do that. You know, good lane, good for team fighting, good for shoving people off towers. They very well could do the same thing here. It's shaping up similar. Malzahar still not going to find his way into this series.
Oh. I didn't expect Jace this early as the ban. Interesting.
Pobelter did have a good Jace game.
He did.
Earlier yesterday. So definitely a nod to him, as well as a couple of possible carry champions for top lane.
Now this is interesting because looking at the game 1 picks and bans, the exact same 3 bans for Immortals. And for TSM, going to switch the LeBlanc and Jace position. So the same 6 bans, the Rengar first pick was replied by Shen Lulu. Run it back. And Immortals would rather take the Shen themselves and change things up. So the first change since the game 1 pick ban.
I do actually think that the Rumble is still the best way to go about the answer to an early Shen like this. But TSM, there are other options. Gangplank is also a pretty good answer I like into an early Shen like that. So, and Hanser has had success on that champion as well. So they still have options, even though whittled down a little bit here. What does remain true is the Lulu and the Rengar. This time it's taken away from Dardoch. They don't want to let him snowball.
It's TSM with, I believe, 3 straight Lulu games. And then 1-on-1 with that. Karma, of course, the easy answer. No surprises here, but the question is right. What else is going to happen here in the matchup? Dardoch's got to play a new jungler this time in the matchup. Svenskjern's going to play 3 different ones. It was a Kha'Zix loss, a Graves win, and now the Rengar. And they won't even go for the jungle. And the thing is, I actually like this. I feel like there's a lot of junglers right below the Rengar tier that are options. Of course, yes, the Graves is very good, but you heard Svenskjern give respect to the Elise in the pre-tape. You've also got champions like Iron that I think are very good, Kha'Zix, Gragas, things like this.
And specifically, Immortals with Dardoch have been very, very open about Dardoch can play any jungler. And they have actually dropped him down to the 2nd pick phase multiple times. He's actually had success on a varied amount of champions. So we'll see if TSM really do try and close that list of champions down on him. As they do enter the 80 carry role.
Yeah, so desynced roles though. There's a top laner for Immortals and a jungler here for TSM. Yeah, thank you. My brain just didn't work for a second, but we'll see what the bans end up being. The first ban going to come through as Elise. Not exactly a huge surprise, but you'd expect that Graves would be next up on the table. Because obviously Graves is very, very powerful in his own right. And some teams consider it over Rengar anyway.
Especially if you are considering you already have shielding from Karma and Shen, and you have a decent amount of crowd control to work with. I think Graves would slot nicely into that Immortals lineup.
Will it be a Gangplank to go alongside the Rumble ban, though? You mentioned that there are some good matchups into Shen, or will it be tank v tank? Of course, Nautilus can be an option as well. We know TSM aren't very tank heavy at this point, so maybe you get rid of the Nautilus and hope they play something squishy, and maybe you can prey on that.
I honestly would go for the other, carry top laner ban into the Gangplank, but that being said, Nautilus wouldn't be super shabby. It's just that you lose a little bit of the global presence.
Wow. So they care so much about the Dardoch Elise that they will let him play Graves, which is, for most teams, the better champion.
And I guess TSM's reasoning would be that they're mostly worried about early game and snowballing, and Elise definitely has that. Graves is a little bit more farm oriented, but Dardoch has put a lot of time in on Graves. I know he feels super confident on the champion, and we'll wait until they lock it in, but
and it is going to be the Nautilus ban.
Does seem to fit them quite well. Yeah, so they went the other way. They did ban out the Nautilus. we'll see if Haunter feels, you know, like the Gangplank or another one of the tanks, as you said.
I actually like the idea of Gragas just to potentially get rid of another champion that Andrade may have wanted to play, but they're going to play a tank top anyway. Nautilus means they're going to play a weaker top laner, in my opinion, in Maokai. Yeah, that should make it easier for Flame.
I don't think TSM have to worry about more tanky champions coming in from Immortals. I feel like they might lack damage if they added Gragas to this lineup. Yeah, we'll see if they snag up the Graves, though. You know, no need to rush into it. They do pick back-to-back, though, so the pick order on second phase for blue side doesn't matter.
Right.
It's just you get to pick both at the same time.
You get a minute to decide, and at 30 seconds to pick one of the two, essentially. The Orianna is going to be the blind pick mid. TSM gets to choose afterwards, and actually, they were maybe right about it, and the Graves will go unplayed.
I do think this does end up a little bit light on your damage for Immortals.
There's the Graves, okay.
Aha, they see reason.
They do see reason. Okay, they were having the Gragas like, hey, you like this Gragas? You want to see this champion? We'll go Maokai. You want it?
Yeah, you like that,
maybe
don't
you?
You
do. All right, Graves in for Dardoch at the end of the bans and the end of the picks. Still deciding what exactly Bjergsen wants to play. I think I heard some duets from the audience. Shia LaBeouf apparently is now moving his stream to here. And Ari's going to be the pick after all. Different age champion, but there it is. The lineup's been locked in. Assassin in the mid lane for Bjergsen.
I like it.
Orianna.
A bit more kill pressure, a bit more roaming pressure here for the picks. You know, Rengar and Ari, you really have to worry about vision control. And they're going to have to keep on top of not only, you know, mid lane, but the control ward placement here. We'll have to monitor that fairly closely. That being said, Immortals have a lot of get-out-of-jail-free cards here. Shen, Stand United is great global presence with an Ash Arrow. There's a lot of, you know, potential there for comboing those two abilities to create your own plays wherever you want.
Absolutely. So 3 damage dealers on the Immortal squad with an Enchanter support and a tank top, and TSM. Ari, Ezreal, and the mix of Rengar in there. Svenskeren getting his first Rengar. The Graves, we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be a fun one. Absolutely. Game 3 about to be underway. TSM have the chance to take over first place. Immortals have the chance to tie for 4th. As the final parting comments come from the coaches, the headsets come off, and
a little bow there on top of the handshake.
All right. Pure respect.
Yeah, where's your respect for me, freak?
Do you deserve it?
Yes. What? You've known me for what? 6 years? 5 years?
Doesn't mean I have to respect you. I can like you. Doesn't mean I have to respect
you. Fair enough. Well, let's get into game number 3 here.
I will not bow to you, Kobe. Game 3.
No respect.
I respect you, Kobe. I just don't want to bow to you is all.
Fair
Immortals, enough. TSM, of course, ready to go onto the Rift. Yes, the blind pick, Orianna for Poe Belter. The Ari, always fun to watch. There's so many builds you can go for here for Bjergsen. Apparently, they called him Jensen a couple times last game. I'm sorry about that.
Maybe we're both losing our minds.
We are.
I didn't notice you doing it.
Nor did I.
Or else I definitely would have called you out.
I know. But we are ready to go into this one. 15 seconds on the mark. And no surprise that there's TSM chants in the audience. As game 3 is here, the last game of the weekend for these two squads, and the last game of the weekend for this stream. Immortals hoping to improve in their record. They do have a tough set of matches tomorrow, or sorry, next week. It's C9 and Phoenix 1. It doesn't really get easier. And they're still in that tight position of, can they stay in playoffs? Will they get past? And picking up wins that they can grab like this one here are very important for making it into the postseason.
Yeah, everybody starts to get a little antsy the closer we get to playoffs here. No matter where you are in the standings at the moment, the North American LCS, incredibly close.
Yeah, it's like an avian zoo. There's so much parity here.
Yes. All right, well, we've also got the Raptors being scouted out. No surprise there. Yeah, more birds. You like it, you like it.
Thanks, buddy.
But we probably will have, oh, actually, Svenskeren, you know, seems like maybe this is just for defensive purposes, but both of the junglers could very well just do the regular starts, Raptors into red, and it looks like that was just a cautionary positioning by the red buff there for Sven. He will get right in for the bonus experience. So often, you gotta watch your mid laners if you want to start here, because almost every mid laner I've ever been with is like, oops, I accidentally stole a couple of the small ones. My bad, I was just trying to help you out.
I like your mid laner impression, by the way. Oops.
And then I go, oops, I accidentally stole your blue buff when I was trying to hand it off.
That explains Smithy's gameplay. Who he keeps taking his Raptors.
Honestly, though, they got all their small Raptors. Everything's great for the junglers, right onto the Reds. Actually, a lot faster here for Dardoch, and he's on the early warpath, going for an invade, pings down early. Their bottom lane is pushing up nicely, so I like this. We'll see if Rengar blast cones over. Some people try and gain distance by doing that, and he does!
Whoop. Ah, he did it! He finds Dardoch, and Biofrost is here.
I've done that before into someone already waiting, though, so that's what the excitement came from.
All right, so Dardoch is buying time here. They're really just kind of trading blows and not getting much done. 2 camps have been cleared for both junglers. Looks like with Ole here, there's reports no smite. He jumped right into him. Dardoch's got to be careful, but
the wolves have come to defend their jungle.
And his pole are going to ignite it. He could die.
The cannon minion, it gives up as it gets out of range there. But man, this is an intense blue buff battle. Dardoch eventually is able to claim that he will be the victor.
Nicely done. Didn't have to play mid lane to be the victor here. Takes that one away. Svenskira takes the wolves. Level 3.
That's what they get for trying to defend his jungle for him?
Yeah.
Jeez. Repaid with no loyalty or respect. Meanwhile, Dardoch gonna go lay down a couple of...
No ignite for Bjergsen. I think he could have thought that, but I don't know if he knew where Svenskira was.
Honestly, how worth it is it too? I mean, you're wasting a bit of time. You can get right back to farming. Every second for a jungler is pretty important.
I feel you. You're probably right. You're a way better jungler than I am.
Honestly.
Flame. Nice ward on the Krugs to help track what's going on. And he's waiting on the satchel for some reason.
You just want to make sure the camera was on him.
Yeah. Look at me. Oh, parkour. Oh, watch out, Ole. Taking some damage. Nice monster Q. Good damage to the turtle. Cody's done. Arcane shift forward. Exhaust trades with heal. And Cody burns a flash. They got to be careful. The chase is on. And they're going to take him down. The TSM 2-on-2. Ole misses the Q. Oh, you got to be kidding. But the kill does come out of the end. Still 2-1 lead to TSM is an advantage for the squad, of course.
Didn't end up mattering, but in the frantic situations there, a couple of autos going astray. Honestly, though, the classic shift forward from Turtle. They're like, oh yeah, we got the QR on him.
Aggro, yeah.
Did he shift over that volley? That was pretty sick if he did. I don't even know if it was
only
possible
misses the
to do
Q.
that.
Unlucky.
But yeah, missed Q, auto minion, doesn't matter. You both die for it.
Yep. All right, well, it was a fun one, and it's TSM with the lead, of course. I'm pretty good about this because the early trade had gone Immortals' way, but they turned it around as well. Look now at the mid lane, and it's very close also.
Hashtag turtle things, you volley over, or you arcane shift over a volley only to then auto a minion after you get to the other side.
That's okay.
Still super sick.
Yep, he tried.
All right. See if we, get any extra action on the bottom. Like, 'cause anytime I see stuff like that, you got to think as a jungler, all summoners blown for both bottom lanes.
Let's go some champions.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go some champions.
Well, we'll see if the party shows up down here. Svenskira, of course, is talking about the 2-on-2 top side. But maybe with the tank versus tank matchup, it's actually all about the bot lane. The summonerless marksman, the summonerless supports. Maybe it'll happen. Cody, Sun, and Ole still playing with a heavy push right now.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a fresh advantage here with the control ward. Ashe, huge amounts of early control in the lane as well, while people are still ramping up on items, not to mention the classic tier from Ezreal. Just going to allow Turtle to try and CS from afar. His CS numbers are still quite good here, even though they don't have control of the lane. Get that one melee, yeah.
Very important that TSM could clear by that controller because the wave was about to be pushed out, and you could see the kind of harass Ole could do from the Fog of War. Dardoch sees that his jungle's been taken away, and level 5 on both these players. Game is back to tied, though. Immortals laning very well. You can see plus 18 for Flame over Haunter in an undisturbed matchup, but that's after Haunter's already burned his TP once.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few more minions left here
That's
in
true.
the lane, but it's definitely not going to make up your difference there. The thing is, that's why Shen has become, super highly prioritized. His lane phase is quite good, not to mention, it is mostly about the ultimate, but you do have to give a little bit of shout out to the lane phase, considering Maokai had that fairly significant nerf to lane phase, which with the mana cost as well as the, no damage on initial sapling throw. So
definitely meaningful. All right, he gets one. Turtle only down 2 CS in this lane. Jumps in for Cody Sun, misses the Essence Flux, but still wins the battle. Nice shielding.
Definitely pings down here. You can see the advanced warding too. Warding there on the blast cone site from Ole. He just went up the river to place that one.
Yep.
Blast cone is down as well that he knows, but the little squiggly thing usually means it's coming soon, I think, right?
I believe so, yeah. It tells you when it's going to be coming up, I think.
It's growing. You need to water it.
Something like that.
Meanwhile, Bjergsen post level 6. Always looking for opportunities to go aggressive. Right now they have a lot of vision control around that mid lane, which we were hyping up earlier before all the action broke out around bottom. But still is definitely important. And Bjergsen, every time he pushes up the lane, you can see he gets kind of an aggressive peak. He's got pretty forward-facing wards around there as well. Svenskeren now being level 6 on Rengar might be a good chance to combo a play here.
Definitely going to look for what he can do with the level 6 Rengar. Going to be a big moment. Svenskeren's typically been out jungled by Dardoch in this series. This time around, though, he's got through the early game equal. Small XP lead for Dardoch, and gold-wise, it's actually 400 up for the Graves, and that's actually pretty meaningful. It's why this game is actually close, and actually it's Immortals winning in gold right now, despite being down the kill.
Welter with the favorable Thunderlord's trade. Anytime you get the extra ability off to get that third proc, and your opponent not able to find it, going to be very good for your trading purposes. And in the end, it is going to be Svenskeren taking away that blue.
Yeah.
I believe it's for cooldown reduction on your first ultimate for Rengar. And everyone's like, oh yeah, you don't use mana. The cooldown level 1 is pretty long on it, and you know, it can be very crucial when the game is so close at this state.
Yeah.
We'll see if that ends up meaning anything or not.
It might not. I think some of it also was due to the fact that Welter was really heavily pushing, but here comes the ult play. He sees Welter. Bjergsen can chase as well. There's the first flash. Gonna jump over the wall to get it. Here comes Shen. Can they shockwave it in time? He's not gonna get to. The kill just comes through cleanly. Nicely played there by TSM. The first ult pays off.
Ooh, it's gonna chain right into a blue steal on the other side, I believe, because yeah, Dardoch's showing here. On that side means Sven can move right into a counter jungle after a successful gank.
But look at this, how aggressive Ole is. Finds while Turtle the arrow. No, he's not going to flash it well enough. Turtle's dead. The kill comes through. Beautifully played on Immortals. Get revenge for the bot lane and earlier.
Oh man, Ole and Cody-san have really been the stars. You got to kind of pause before you say it, but yeah, you know, Dardoch in the first couple games in this series, yeah. Yesterday, it was about the bottom lane, and they come up big here in game number 3, which is a crucial moment. They're really, you know, finding improvements.
And it's really interesting because that's what it, to me, is so much about the North American LCS at the end of the season is how good are you? Forget your record. If you can make playoffs, and how good are you as a team to make that push? But here's Flame. Damage on a Hanser, but Svenskeren's coming around. Flame has to flash the Bola, and there's not going to be much of a chase, but the root is there. The flash to follow gets a bit of a dodge, going for a bit, but out of HP, and the kill comes through. Nicely done by Svenskeren. A good setup for Hanser as well. Not even having to burn flash. The shockwave not meaning that much in a Bjergsen. He stays alive in the lane.
May have gotten a little ahead of myself. I don't know about stars, but they're definitely playing better in the bottom lane.
I respect your opinion.
They are able to at least you know, bring some back here for Immortals. Very close game here. Let's see if Sven can really chain that into anything, because before we were talking about, oh yeah, Dardoch, you know, he's been out jungling this pretty much this whole series.
Ooh. Auto RE, not going to go for it here. Thing is, he had the chance to do so. He landed the auto attack. I'm surprised he didn't go for the combo. Maybe he was low on mana.
Fairly healthy Maokai too, but you know, he's going for it.
If you're willing to flash, you might as well combo, though, I feel like. But no, well, not going to happen there. Oleo is going to find Bjergsen. He's suddenly surrounded, and goodbye. He is just dead immediately.
Yeah, he finds Bjergsen and Svenskeren and Biofrost. Yep. And that's too many to find, as TSM should be able to grab the Ocean Drake pretty effortlessly after that one. They just saw Dardoch up on the top side, by the way, so they know, you know, there's no threat of Graves trying to eat over the wall and steal it or anything. So very good stuff here for TSM. And as I was trying to get to before, Svenskeren has been critical here in game number 3 for them. Takes away the Rengar pick. A lot of good moves from him.
And the game is still tied, though. The Rengar takeaway definitely has gone well for Svenskeren, who's got 60% KP so far this game. Of course, it's hard to do that any better when your bot lane gets a random double kill in the landing phase level 2. But now a play to the bot side. Biofrost does have flash. Cody Sun doesn't go for the ulti. You didn't really want to go for the support in a 2-on-2. The actual marksmen do more damage overall, and they're the ones worth focusing. Ocean Drake, really nice for Ezreal though this early. You have infinite mana, you can spam Q on cooldown and never It is actually possible to run out with a tier if you Q on cooldown, and this time you won't. That's just helpful.
That's great. I love not running out of mana.
Yeah. Good job rank our players.
Great for Maokai's lane phase too, because he does need a little help there.
Yeah, that is pretty meaningful.
And Maokai does back off intermittently to try and grab that regeneration. Really though is the bottom side.
Dardak
first should be able to power this down.
They're gonna try. Here comes the TP. They want to stop. They're gonna stay for the turret. I like this choice. The turret's gonna go down. They're fighting a Biofrost. They're gonna almost knock him down. They do. The damage comes through. Here comes the fight. Bjergsen coming for the flank. Here comes Cody's son, ulted in by Shen, and he's going to arrive. Bjergsen dodges the taunt, and Ole's gonna go down. 2 for 1 so far. TSM. Svenskeren is on the chase. Shockwave buys a bit of time, but Poets are going to be jumped on. Going to take more damage. Exhaust buys a bit. Jumps back in. Poebelter, why'd you walk back into the Rengar? Stays alive, though, but another kill comes from the bot side. Flame loses life for the ulti. And it's 3 for 1 TSM. The trade was for the turret.
Yeah, Svenskeren did a decent amount of work here coming down through the river. And they'll retain control of the rift afterwards. I was wondering how many they'll keep down here to try and pressure this turret. Maybe they don't even try and answer it. But here we go, another look at it. Immortals do make the call to focus the turret down and then grab their kill. Maybe the Shen ultimate could have come in a bit earlier for Flame there. If they were, convinced that they're going for this turret to completely stay and completely go for that kill. But again, Sven there on the top side, got a lot of work done.
Flame kind of overstayed. I don't think he realized how much damage he's going to take. He was zoning out the team. And
so maybe a little bit lack of communication in that play. They still did get the turret. They still did get a kill, but definitely TSM happy with how they're able to chase them down afterwards.
Sure, of course. Yeah, the total team fight was -2 kills, but plus first turret, which just in gold is probably positive for Immortals, but you have to take map pressure into account and the mini waves you can get with people dead. You can see individual gold-wise, Hanser back to tied with Flame for what was a losing laning phase. Dardak continued to farm very, very well. You can see he's still up 400 gold individually. Being part of the turret kill obviously is part of that. We'll see how the rest of the game can play out. Bjergsen already has Merlinomicon, not done yet for Poebelter. That's pretty significant. 1 level lead as well. Nice little bit of poke.
All right, with that bottom turret falling as well, Immortals get the opportunity to switch over their duo lane. Looks like they're actually staying mid here with Flame up top. No Stand United, but he does have teleport. Wow, they just go mid for 1 second, quote unquote, help Poebelter clear a wave and then rotate back down. I was expecting a little bit more, proactive use and try and shift more resources up towards the top side, but right now it's TSM shifting top side as Svenskeren's prepping himself for a dive here.
Yeah, TSM shifting top side, no bot lane outer to defend as the Ezreal and Lulu hold the mid lane, and up goes the Ahri.
Yeah, again, it's TSM that are making the first move when Immortals had time to actually do it.
Then jump in, get a bit of damage, the trade back comes in for Flame. This is good damage. Gets rooted though, so he's all right. Nice dodge by Ole, but here's the pressure onto the turret, and it looks like it might be enough. Again, the Ahri sitting in the river, waiting to go back and forth. Turret will be defended.
This pressure should swing back over to mid, though. I mean, you can push your wave in first here if you're TSM.
But Cody's pushing bot, so someone has to go defend that, and it stretches the team out a little bit. And maybe TSM don't get to play aggressively anymore.
Still, though, TSM win out. In that couple of seconds, you get half of a turret's worth of damage there on top side. It is a small advantage, but it's these small things, these differences in, willingness to rotate up there, willingness to completely move your pieces when it was Immortals that actually had the opportunity. Here they go, though.
Big opportunity, onto Hanser, who does pop the ulti for a bit of damage and kites away. But Dardak's still staying in this top side, shoving the wave out, and either it makes it a safe recall for Flame, or they are going to go for turret pressure, and it's going to be the safe recall. Bot lane actually not attacked. I'm a little bit surprised TSM had more pieces on that side of the map. And don't go for turret damage. Instead, it's going to be Wild Turtle recalling.
Yeah, Infernal Drake is going to definitely draw some more wards, I believe. 30 seconds people have to get over there and try and get down some wards. Mostly right now, it's TSM doing all of the prep work here. And it might be Immortals showing up to the quiz a bit late.
Bjergsen still waiting around.
If they don't
in front of this.
It's actually incredibly dangerous. You know, the game is fairly close, even though the kills are lopsided.
Yeah.
But they're moving in with sweepers, making it a little bit safer.
200 gold lead for Immortals, looking to play around this bottom side of the map. The Drake is spawning with Inferno. Both teams want it. TSM right now, the Ocean Drake means nothing as all the teams are full HP. That's going to be a non-factor right now. Mid cleared.
There are a bunch of wards behind Immortals that, you know, Hunter has an opportunity to flank them inside this red quadrant.
TSM have better vision. They got Scuttle Crab as well. 4,000 HP left on this Drake. Svensker going to stay and tank it up.
Here he goes. Hunter's coming in.
Drodak wants for this one. Arrow's going to land on Svensker, and he's not going to burn the Frosty. He is now. Good smite. Goes to Drodak. Now Immortals to kite back, but here comes the flank engage. Hanser's in. Here comes Shen. This could be big for TSM, and they dodge the shockwave. Cody-san is gone already. Now what else can TSM get? Pobelter locked up in the front line. Wild Growth helps that one, and it's a lot of kills picked up. 2 for 1 so far. The back push on a Wild Turtle. He stays alive, and Drodak's next up. It's a 3 for 1. TSM yet again winning the fight 4-11 in kills.
Really good focused dive there from TSM onto Cody-san first to take down the Ashe. Might have to wait for the replay to see the Stand United shield, but Flame actually gets charmed up.
He puts on the taunt, and he puts on the shield as well, stays alive, but a damage on Bjergsen Turtle. Ooh, sorry, the turret almost takes him down. Hanser's still tanky. There's the dive in. They're going to get the 4th one of the fight. And they've reset the turret dagger. There's going to be a turret going down. TSM handily ahead.
Flame actually went for an aggressive taunt there and then flashes out instead of defensive taunt and getting away
farther.
With it. Yeah. And they give over another kill plus the turret. So let's take another look at this one. Because they're very close together. Stand United didn't go on Cody-san. It was on Dardoch, actually. And though they were standing very close together, you can click on the portraits. There's also the possibility that they thought the initiation was on Dardoch, but I think in all cases, you start it very early on the Ashe, as that's going to be the primary target. Graves is inherently more tanky. Regardless, though, it was a very good dive there by TSM to take advantage of you know, the shieldless Ashe.
And huge props by Hanser for getting the TP flank in. You had mentioned all the deep wards that TSM had. They were better prepared. And even though the Drake goes away, it was fine. TSM got the better on the back of it. So well played TSM, earning this victory, this lead, I should say, right now. But they're poised for victory with the 2,000 gold lead. We'll see if they can keep it going.
Yeah, we'll definitely see here because Immortals at least have that Infernal Drake. Oh,
good steal.
Good steal. They at least have the red buff. They have the Infernal Drake buff in their pockets. If they can, you know, find themselves an opening here. They do have Ashe for late game picks, and again, we can still mention the Shen and the split pushing, you know, drawing the map across, and then if you find openings with Ashe arrows, it's still definitely a possibility for them. TSM looks very cohesive at the moment, though, and TSM have looked the best when they get those 5-man squads. They dive headfirst in. You know, it's Hanser holding someone in place for Sven and Bjerg to really jump on and take down pretty quickly.
And props to both Hanser and Bjergsen, the solo laners of TSM, maybe the best players on the team right now in their current form. Both deathless and 8 and 9 KP respectively is pretty good. Those guys are putting in a lot of heavy lifting. Pobelter, unfortunately not the best game here, but everyone's scoreline looks bad when you're 4-12 in kills. Immortals, though, still, to be fair to them, are pretty close in this game. The deficit is not large. And as long as they're aware of that, thing is, it's very easy to say, ooh, you know, they have 3 times our kills, this is rough, but really this game is within reach.
Definitely still true. And it would be such a big win for them if they could get it as well. We've been talking so much about the standings for this week and the coming 2 weeks. The race is definitely on, and in general, Immortals' form looks so much better than the beginning of the season, so definitely still in this one. Definitely got to keep the confidence up. Meanwhile, TSM really want to pull ahead of Cloud9, as Cloud9 did give them an opening earlier, which was a bit unexpected, dropping their game, or dropping not more than their game, dropping their series. There's the Ashe arrow.
And Dardoch going to go for a bit of damage here, trying to push him out. Sven down a half HP. Bjergsen chunked a little bit as well. Buys a bit of time for Immortals.
Yeah, good chunk, but they don't make the call to all-in. If you have the all-in, then it comes in the form of Stand United immediately dashing in, looking for the taunts, you know, trying to really lock that one down. They actually make the call to walk away from the attempted pick there. And in the end,
TSM get a turret.
Get another turret.
Stretches the gold lead to about 2,500. Larger than it was before. Hanser just going to wave clear and catch up on this cannon wave. And has been splitting farm well enough against Flame, who, again, to Hans's credit, has done a really good job of getting into fights despite not having the same tools that Flame does. Playing the weaker champion, generally speaking. Shen, super high prioritized tank. Maokai maybe number 4 in the list.
Well, it's funny because the nerfs that we talked about are all mostly laning phase nerfs for Maokai.
They are.
Still becomes the same massive tree trunk for the front line and scales super well into late game.
I agree in the scaling. It's just he's done better in the first 20 minutes, which is where those nerfs hit him, right? Like, it's supposed to be worse for him, and yet he's up 2 levels after the landing phase. He's got, you know, this turret to work down with, and of course, Hansu's lead makes it easy. 350 gold to him. Big heal, and TSM up 4K. Almost, anyway.
All right, now we find the attempted Fog of War plays. Honestly, though, the vision is pretty much split here around Baron. Both teams got to be a little bit cautious entering the enemy jungle. Positioning means a tremendous amount at this stage. See if they can actually get the inside track here. Svenskeren going pretty deep here, down to meet up with Bjergsen.
So far, it's going to be a bit of a slower game. TSM happy to play it that way, though. Yeah, it's been good for them the way they got the outer turrets down. So now it's time for the next tier and this second Ocean Drake.
Definitely true.
Meanwhile, Immortals go for play top side. Turtle jumps the wall nicely. Shows Dyrus how it's done. Although, to be fair, Arcane Shift is better than Flash for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's a lot easier. I'm not going to lie.
That's like easy.
The crowd is on Dyrus' side here, I see.
Here we go, though. Double, I mean, there's like triple control wards on top side, so you know Immortals really want to make a play off that top side. And they do have Stand United, so the rotation of Dardoch and Pobelter means like they're committing all their resources up here, but I guess they got 1 control ward for their troubles.
It is strange, though, because Rengar was kind of known to be bot lane, and Immortals never actually pulled the trigger on making the play happen. All 5 could have been in that lane. Rengar had no hope of joining in time. Immortals don't go for the dive. They don't get the turret damage, and they're slowly bleeding small parts of the map away. 3,500 plus the double Ocean Drake. TSM have been taking more of the map in neutral state. Meaningful gold lead, but still not insurmountable. Just waiting to see if Immortals can do a bit more. Unfortunately for Immortals, though, they've had the worst mid-game shot calling. In game 1, they had a huge lead. They closed it out respectably. Well played to them. In game 2, they had the lead again and actually a little bit tossed it away. TSM outplayed them in the mid-game, and TSM took it back. And here, TSM are just winning in the early game, in the mid-game, and have stretched that, actually. And Immortals, you know, to be hopeful for them, you want to see them get a little bit done here.
Well, in order to get something done, they're looking for the Ash Arrows, like we keep prepping. Those you do want to shoot from Fog of War, so those control wards are sites for that. Rengar, though, not going to give him much time.
Look for the rootkits on Apova. He's going to be gone for this one. Exhaust is on the True Shot barrage, and they get away from the Shockwave. Beautifully played. TSM find the kill, and no counteraction at all.
Very close here. Let's see. No mid laner. TSM might actually go for a dive here in the 5v4. Yeah.
On the Dardoch they go. Hanser the front line, super tanky. A big time. It does buy him some freebies, but TSM have no wave to play with. Out they go.
See if they focus more on turret damage this time around. Hanser down to half health. Ah, Redemption. The perfect item.
Doing the siege. Double Ocean Drake helps as well. Of course, mid lane tier 2 gonna fall, and TSM throw this one to 5K. They're getting more done. 25, 26 minutes in now. TSM with a meaningful lead.
All right. The cooldowns are pretty short at this stage. You know, Shen started to get some cooldown reduction in the Spirit Visage. Usually, a lot of Shens will take scaling cooldown reduction runes as well. He might have gotten magic resist for his matchup versus Maokai, but regardless, it will be much shorter just by leveling it up as well. And they could go for, again, these Ash Arrows into Stand United plays. The reason I keep harping on it is because that's what they need to use to their advantage. That's the advantage that they drafted for. Whereas TSM, we mentioned, you know, the scaling of the Maokai, the power of the spearhead style.
Yeah.
Is what TSM has to work with, and that's something that you can really rely upon to enable you some good vision coverage. Yeah, Scuttle Crab is going to be there for a while, but so much work goes into placing control wards that...
There's no rush for TSM to knock this down anyway. Arrow's gonna land on Biofrost. That should be enough. Exhaust is on to buy some time. The burst is there. Shot's gonna get it with Red Bull! And he pops the ulti to make sure he's gonna be okay. Biofrost gets away with it. The exhaust, the flash, and his ulti all used. That's advantage Immortals.
TSM live another arrow, though.
Yeah, they do.
All right, let's see what Immortals can do with their map control after that chunk.
Can they get him off this turret? He's going to try to wave clear, and he's going to do a decent job of that. And in a 4 versus 1 almost, nothing meaningful is actually done there.
Yeah, bit of damage on the turret and a collapse here. As you can see, Maokai attempted roam up. There is a control ward there that would spot him if you made it any further. And TSM decide, yeah, we've defended the siege. Pull right back off.
Cody Sun actually segueing down to the last Whisper. As an individual item, for 300 gold, it's definitely better than BF Sword would be, considering there's a big... Product gets it.
Yeah.
It's the best you could do against this Hanser Maokai, but because they're behind in gold, having to delay Infinity Edge, not staying up on your crit curve is actually pretty rough. Ashe can normally do really big damage, but behind on gold, you never really keep up with the tanks. It's going to be hard for Cody Sun to be meaningful outside of those arrows, unfortunately for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the extra cooldown reduction coming in, so at least he can fire more arrows.
Yeah.
Hanser now is going to be on the run. I question how long, I question how long you want to chase that guy, considering you have very incomplete vision. Look at the starving TSM have done. Not only have they cleared out all these control wards, but starving out those regular wards, timing them out, keeping Immortals pinned up in their own side of the jungle. TSM have really done a very good job of claiming complete control of the vision around the most important spots, you know, later in the game here. This barren cove. Scuttlecrab is timed out as well, and it's good for Immortals that they take this opportunity during the recall to go quickly plant a bunch of new wards.
We'll see the setup can continue. 4,500 remains the lead as TSM keeps taking over the map. 40 seconds on this Mountain Drake. It's a great late game Drake to have, of course.
There is still only one Scryer trinket as well on Immortals. We never saw Pobelter switch over. He's still using yellow ones.
I think because they have Hawkshot, it's fine. I don't think you need
That's fair.
to dedicate that heavily. What I am scared of is the fact that Cody Sun is actually picked up a QSS right now. I feel like you're not allowed to push your damage down that much when you're the team behind. I know Maokai is scary. I know Ahri can be scary, but I feel like Mortal Reminder, if you're going to finish that, is better.
Well, at the moment, it's more important that Svenskerin's made his way down to the bottom side of the map here.
Yep, that's going to go down. Nicely done by TSM.
It's also really good prep for the Drake. I mean, yeah, they can grab the red buff first, but they're trading turrets essentially and adding an extra Drake on top of it. An extra Mountain Drake, which adds so much more threat to this Baron control. If you talk about TSM moving in and choking out all the vision, that becomes so scary if you add the Mountain Drake extra damage on top.
But Ole just stole 150 gold from Cody Sun. That turret was going to die. He didn't have to come in and help knock that down. And
Cody shared it. I don't know about stealing.
I mean, he stole it.
Mine.
He stole it. He had $300. He's like, I'm going to give you 150 instead. And Cody Sun needs the gold where he needs to catch up in items. I actually don't like that Ole showed up there. Mountain Drake, of course, goes to TSM. No contest. They own the bottom side of the map. We'll see what else can happen here. Ole is going towards, I do like this one though, he's going towards Ardent Sensor. That'll be a nice damage boost off the several auto attackers the team has.
I think though, the plan should be clear for TSM. They've got Rengar, they've got Ahri, you know, there's a lot of pick potential. You've got a Mountain Drake now on top of your Oceans that you can just go plant yourself near Baron. Start clearing out the wards again, basically repeat the process that they did maybe 3 or 4 minutes ago, and then kind of wait for good things to come to you. The Ashe Arrow and Hawkshot and all that stuff is going to make it a little bit more difficult, but they definitely have the threat to work with now.
Once again, the push towards the mid lane. Arrow, good juke by Wild Turtle. Is the damage going to be enough, though? Stardock putting the autos in, and yes, it's going to be a turret picked up. That's good for Immortals. Now they got to run away with Distortion. And there's a lot of pings coming out from TSM, pinging out where the wards are, where the recall and the TP flank could come from. It's not going to be a play. Immortals able to get a little bit of this back. Still down this 4,000, but they have kept the lead from ballooning. TSM stacking Drakes, but able to only get so much done. This is nice, though, for TSM. Bjergsen on the split push. Svenskeren is doing this a lot. He's joining in on the winning lanes and getting a lot of pressure and knocking these turrets down. Look at the damage out of Bjergsen. Turtle able to wave through very aggressively, and Hanser just split pushing in the bot side of the map. Up against Flames Shen, still up 1 level as a top laner, TSM. The turret being killed off, the damage should be there. TSM, again, finding the aggressive plays, rotating the team into the split push lane, and making that gold lead 5,000.
Slowly but surely increasing bit by bit. Now that all the outer towers are done, full attention can be applied.
Whoa! Man, he's gone. He was in the brush, and now he's dead.
Full attention, please. Yeah, that's almost impossible to react to as Cody's son.
He healed and maybe didn't have to, but...
Yeah, I mean, maybe if that was the other summoner, if he reacted as quick as that, he was probably already charmed by the time he healed, but if you had some super ridiculously quick reaction, then maybe. Regardless, though, that's going to be the pick that does, enable this Baron for TSM.
And no one's going to even stop it. The ward control's too good, TSM. Honestly, this is a pretty good-looking game for them. They had a small lead in the early game. They never let up from that. And they have taken nothing but secured objectives and what feel like pretty good plays as a squad. TSM wanting to be on form, of course. They close this game out. They are alone in first place. They continue to ride that wave. They've already secured playoffs, but I really do think the way the teams are shaping up right now, Phoenix 1 look like the clear number 3 team with how inconsistent the rest of the teams are. At least number 3, I should say, for Phoenix 1. And if you get that first seed, you actually dodge Phoenix 1 for longer. You will not get them in the semifinal, which if you play the bracket to their seed, that would be how it would play out.
Yeah. Honestly, first is always best in my experience.
Yeah, good point. But sometimes you have games where seasons where 3 and 4 are like the same power.
Sometimes you get into those Oscar situations, but those are pretty rare.
Yeah,
In general, first is not the worst.
First the worst,
contrary to what you may have learned growing up. Yep. Honestly, though, let's get back to this.
Absolutely. TSM hoping to close this one out. Now 7,000 in the lead. The Baron buff on the team. This is all they should need to close it out. Quick miss on a Biofrost. Now Drodek's going to be a bit careful. Arrow's going to land on Svenskeren. These two tanky. They pop the Steric's Gauge Shield. So at least one minorly important cooldown missing, but Bjergsen still splitting. Still getting wave control.
Yep. Baron buff going to really close the gap here. All the lanes will be right up next to the turrets, and we'll see if TSM actually want to go for the slow game and chip away at the turrets or call Hanser over, because Maokai is a very capable tower diving tank. You just have to be careful not to drop your aggro with a Twisted Advance. And maybe start out with it instead. Brute force here as Svenskeren does get chipped down.
But it doesn't really matter. The turret's gone already, and Hanser to the front line, roots up Flame. Good damage on him, though. Hanser down to about 1,600, back to 2.5K. Redemption.
Everyone retreats to their redemption circles.
Undoes what was done. Hanser still at over half HP, 2,200. Inhibitor under fire. And again, it's a 7,000 gold deficit and a Baron buff. There's not much you can do about it. TSM take that one pretty cleanly.
Yeah, zoning Rengar ultimate. No blood will be shed today.
Except for the minions. Down to the inhibitor turret.
They're always forgotten.
They're always lost and forgotten. There's the stun. Svenskeren in front of the turret, but the turret's already gone. Pawalter gets jumped on. There's the damage up, but they got to pick him off, and Orianna's dead. Knock up there on a Cody Sun and a Dardoch. They're trying to run away. Hanser is just unassailable into the Nexus turret. That's going to be that one picked up as well. Actually, Cody Sun trades it back. It's a 1-for-1, and IMT keeping alive. A good dodge in the true shot.
Yeah, he trades it back, but that's Baron buff and 2 inhibitors down for TSM, so they have free reign. They decided to play it safe, just go recall, purchase with all that money, and maybe return to the Dragon Pit. Elder Dragon is on the way.
Seems like an easy choice, to be honest. The reset's going to be easy. There are some slightly desynced respawns. 30 seconds on Hanser, only 20 on Pobelter. That 10-second window means very little with Hanser having teleport, but maybe it's something Immortals can happen to work around. Very unlikely, but I guess it's possible. But a 9,000 gold lead, TSM are almost guaranteed this one here. And we'll see how they try to close this one out. Playing for the Elder. Svenskeren's back on the map. Hanser in 8 seconds.
Immortals have so many good takeaways, though, from this week.
Yeah.
I mean, not to mention just their performance yesterday, but even here versus TSM, pushing them pretty far. bottom lane improvements. You know, Dardark has some good carry games. So in their race for a playoff spot, definitely can be pretty happy. They'd love to have that feather in their cap of being able to, you know, turn this one around and making that miracle comeback. But even if they aren't able to, well, actually, here's the trigger. We're going to find out pretty soon here.
Ari's topside is a 5v4. Immortals can look for the team fight and hope that without Bjergsen it can go well. Wild Turtle poked out a bit. Immortals really need this to be a fight, and TSM probably shouldn't engage without Bjergsen. Still battling for the Elder Dragon, trying to knock this one down. 3,000 health left on it. Spite Fight's going to reset. Here comes the Battlehawk to the front side. Still 5 seconds from Bjergsen. They're going to try to take down the tank, but here comes the re-engage. They've caught the damage, but Dardark stays alive. And here comes Bjergsen into the mix, and a nice redemption heal will keep Svenskeren afloat as well. Dardark still fighting a resetting Baron. They're healing back and forth. They've caught out Flame. He's a bit tanky, but he's going to go down to lose the Guardian Angel. Haunts are a bit low. The damage comes in. Turtle almost picks him off. Flame respawning, but the damage should be there from the Ezreal. Bjergsen flashes, gets the damage, picks off Dardark, and Turtle's on the chase. He chooses to flash forward, finds himself the double kill, and he's done everything he's wanted to do in this game. 3 picked up the Elder Dragon as well, and that's going to be all it takes to close the game out. TSM have everything they need to take this series 2-1.
Bjergsen's on the chase. Cody's on flashes. Oh, run for the fountain.
Does it even matter? KDA! Ole is going to die as well. He's going to end this game 1-4-4 in TSM fashion. They lose game 1. They scare all their fans, then say, don't worry, guys. We were just sandbagging. They close it out in the end, and TSM take control of first place to close out week 7.
Ooh, what a day.
Seriously.
Slugfest left and right.
Do you have W? I was trying to give it.
Some very risky Barons we've seen.
Yeah. And that is a heartbreak.
Turnaround, some Nexus rushing.
Yeah.
TSM, pretty sweet day.
Pretty sweet day, I agree. TSM proving they were the better team. And the thing is, they were one phrase, let's do Baron, away from this being a 2-0 for IMT. They had control in game 2. They had already won game 1. Immortals could have made it a 4-0 week. It was close to being that. And with their schedule being so difficult, with their spot in the playoffs so uncertain, that might be the difference between 6th and 7th at the end of the season. That one call in game 2. TSM, thankfully for them, of course, got the game 2 comeback, and they got the game 3 win. Pretty secured, to be honest. That was one of the most secured wins I've seen. They took a small lead, made it a bigger lead, made it a game-winning, team fight at the end. Really impressed with TSM's game 3, but 1 and 2, honestly, were pretty shaky.